What's up, guys? Tonight, the triple threat main event is back. And tonight we're trying to show our new intro, which was, we have a little technical difficulty here, but which was made by our own hitman, Jack Pinocchio.
We're back, but not by popular demand. Just get that out of the way.
Here we go. We're going to show it right now. So you guys, you'll probably see our ugly mugs over the side because I can't figure this out, but we'll figure it out. We'll learn as we go. But tonight, our top 10 favorite wrestling entrance songs.
Easy for you to say.
So here we go.
I just want to thank you for not putting Adrian Adonis after my picture. I noticed that Ric Flair was after Mr. Pinocchio. You know what? After seeing that hit in football today, Jack, you just keep doing what you do, okay?
Yeah,
Adrian
no
Adonis
worries.
Don't say anything to Pinocchio. Don't poke the bear.
I might have to put the hitman under my name now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So tonight, guys, we're gonna do, like I said, we're gonna do our top 10 favorite wrestling entrance music or theme music, whatever you want to call it.
10.
Yeah.
10 of them.
Could have easily been 20.
10.
So
20.
gosh,
1 million.
I'm looking at but look, and the other day when I started doing it, I was like, this is gonna be hard to do. But then they just started coming up, and I was like, and then when I made my list, I was like, and I've still got some. I was like, I can't believe I'm leaving this up. I can't believe.
Yeah.
Honorable mention.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of honorable mentions. Warden loves those, but
I'm not the king of those like some of us.
that's true. I am the king. That's for sure. Not Harley Race, but not Haku, not the Macho King. I do have my
Jerry Lawler.
glasses.
Hey.
There we go. I should have, but I wanted to represent. This could be this, and this could be a hint of things to come for me at least. And God knows it is hard to see out of these things. God,
your dog's going to town on that pillow behind you, Steve.
Yeah, he's having a Molly. So anyway, but not last week. It's been 2 weeks now. We had our top 10 favorite wrestlers that never won a world heavyweight championship, and we got some good feedback from that. A lot of using, of course. Also, if you look up in the top right corner, you see our new logo for Triple Threat Main Event. That's of course Pinocchio again. Yeah, dude, you did a good job on that, Warden. You did a good job.
Like Vanna White. Which way am I on?
I had to scratch myself and go, I'm just pretending to be itchy. It's that way.
Yeah, it's that way. See, you can go this way. It's the opposite of what you're really thinking. But so guys, what's been going on? It's been 2 weeks. You guys been watching any wrestling?
I've been watching. I record AEW. I was watching that Wednesday night. I don't know I get confused what it's called.
Midget
had-
Dynamite.
Had like a freaking no rules anywhere, like with Jericho and Kenny. Damn. And I know Jericho's older than me. And it's like, son of a, how does he do it?
He just keeps going. He just doesn't stop.
I mean, and when he did one of them, I don't know who the other guy, but they did a suplex onto a bicycle.
Mhm.
That thing is not bending. I mean, son of a gun.
That had no give at all.
Not much giving a bicycle.
Huh?
It's not much giving a bicycle.
No.
Bicycle, want to ride my, but man, AEW is pretty cool. I mean, they got every freaking NWA guy from before. They got Ric Flair now, Jericho. I mean, it's that one dude. Who's the guy that's really pissed off at Jericho? Said he messed with an autograph. That is a monster.
Oh,
yeah. And I noticed one thing about what AEW does that WWE doesn't do. They take shots to the head. You remember when WWE used to do that? They don't do that. They don't do it with the chairs, but they did it with like a sign or something.
Yeah.
But they
go all out with all that stuff, which is it's a good change of pace. It's different. It's very like late WCW. You know what I'm saying? So,
and I haven't watched in a while. I guess Moxley's a heel now. That's pretty cool. You know,
do you call him a heel, or is he like a tweener? I mean,
he's a tweener.
People
yeah. I mean, he blades, he swears, but
he's going against Orange Cassidy. So Orange Cassidy's
I mean that's the way you would consider that he is a heel, but you know. They people here for him.
MJF, I don't know what he is.
He's a babyface heel.
Yeah,
that's what he is.
Exactly.
He's like Austin was back in the day.
Yeah.
Or Flair too.
You know what? I don't hate to say it. I kind of miss MJF as a heel because of some of the things he would say.
He never turned it off outside the ring. That was old school.
Oh yeah, I mean, because there was a kid in a wheelchair at an autograph signing, and MJF said, "I bet I can do something you can't." And he stood up, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Talking about staying.
You don't think that had to be arranged? There's no way he's that.
I don't know, dude. He talked trash to some little girl too. There was some little girl that come up there with one of his autographs. He talked purity trash to her too.
He
about waste of money was like the condom that her dad didn't use when I mean
he was at a signing once with a little kid, and this was when he was full heel, and took a photo, and he had his middle fingers up in the photo, and the kid actually wrote to him and goes, "Why'd you do that?" And he kept it kayfabe. He said, "I'm a heel, it's what I do. You don't like it, I've got your money, I don't care." So that's why I love heel MJF. It just works. He makes it work.
Like I think me and you, Jack, were texting back and forth one night about apparently Miz has gone babyface, and Miz is so much better a heel than a babyface. I mean,
I think it's because he's gone up against Gunther, and he's a heel, but he's not. But they need that babyface.
If there was a way he could keep the heel persona and go against Gunther or whatever you want to call it.
Lurch.
Yeah.
They would just have to turn Gunther face, and it'll work.
I don't think I like
the Miz as a heel. So what do you do?
I can't see him as a baby face though.
I don't think he could handle.
He's not what you call a handsome man. First of all,
Well,
I mean,
George the Animal Steel wasn't either, but he was a baby face. But
but he was bald, so Waddle's beautiful. So don't mess with George.
And Gunther is not going to go start tearing apart the turnbuckle and start eating the
what nationality is Gunther?
He's Austrian.
Yeah,
Austrian.
Yeah,
like Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. So
Arnold.
He's popular because of what he's doing as an IC champion, but he's playing the heel role. But it's kind of like he's defending the title really well. He's doing a great job.
He is.
I meant to boo him, so it's kind of like I don't want to, but I have to.
Imagine a champion defending his belt. I mean,
I saw a funny meme today and it said, Sting, as 60-plus-year-old man, is still in the ring and has wrestled the same amount of matches as Roman Reigns has this year.
You know, I'm wondering because I've heard talk that maybe he's staying away so much because, of course, we know he had cancer a while back. He's staying away. Could it be health problems? I mean, I don't know.
I heard he's filming a movie. That's what I heard.
I've heard movies. I've never heard the health one yet. Again, maybe it's come back. We're not too
What's
sure.
leukemia? I think they would. I think if he did it, I think they'd take it off him.
I think he would be gone. But that I did hear that on one of the podcasts that somebody thought, that was just a rumor.
Yep.
Nothing factual about it, but just a rumor. But
it's no different than what Hogan did in the 80s. He was there once a month.
Hogan actually defended more in the 80s than Roman did because they
really? Okay.
Yeah, they actually had a chart up of, I forgot what year it was when Hogan had the belt and how many times he defended his title versus Roman, and it was like,
it doesn't matter to me. You know why? Because it's scripted and it's not real. But if this was UFC or something else, it would matter. It's wrestling. It doesn't matter. They got Seth standing up. It's fine.
He's doing that old school heel where he's defending the belt. Now he's gone away for a couple of months, and you hate it. But you got to watch his next match because you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, he's doing the whole Brock Lesnar, what Brock Lesnar did a while back when he had the belt.
Well, he's doing it because the WWF lets him do it. WWE lets him do it.
Well,
I don't know, man. I'm not a big Roman Reigns fan. I'd rather watch Seth anyway. So I'm okay with it. Him go or here or go. It don't matter.
Yeah.
So he's not the GOAT. He's another John Cena to me. He's just another champion. He doesn't impress me. He just I can dare to leave him.
No, I get it. I'm the same.
Roman, actually the hate for John Cena seems to have disappeared. You don't hear the whole we want Cena stuff anymore. Everybody's talking great about him. Something.
Well, they saw that latest Fast and Furious, and that just brought everybody around.
But some of the promos he did, like talking about how he hasn't won on TV, and like he's got a long losing streak on TV.
It's like 5 years now.
Yeah, that promo he did, and then putting over Solo like he did. Yeah. I mean, that was not what you would think with John Cena. I mean, he really got pummeled by Solo.
I don't know. I think I was never a big Cena fan. I don't think I ever disliked him, but I got the kind of the thing about because he never changed gimmicks, and I'm not a big hip hop guy either. So you can tell,
He did change,
but but he had that one for the most.
Thugonomics.
Yeah, but I mean, I can take it or leave him, but it's seeing him old school and putting stars over. I have a lot more respect for him than I do like a Ric Flair that had to be the star there at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, Jericho's this way. Edge is going to be this way. They're putting star. I mean, Christian's having a great run. I don't know what they're going to do with him, but you have these older guys putting people over like Solo with Cena. I got a lot more respect for Cena for that. And, and besides, dumping Nikki Bella nut job, I mean, only because he wanted to have his kid, that bitch. But yeah, Cena, I've gotten a little bit of respect for because he's putting people over, and actually kind of, I like him. I have a lot more respect for him in his twilight years than like I said, like a Ric Flair that was making it all about him. They're not putting stars over. I mean,
I can tell the wins and losses doesn't bother him.
He's not that anymore.
He's not the GOAT. I mean, no matter what Michael Cole says, he's up there as being a great. He did a lot for the sport. He was a great merchandiser, great talker, hell of a wrestler. They said, like when he was in that Smoky Mountain or whatever, he picked it up right away. I mean, it's amazing.
Yep.
There was something that came up on Busted Open the other day, and I want to put this to you guys. I don't know if you heard it, Pinocchio, or not. Now that Flair has signed with AEW, and Flair is the 16-time, and Cena or 16-time world champions, and it's kind of been the unspoken rule that goes around backstage that they wouldn't put the belt on Cena again out of respect for Ric Flair. But now that Flair is in the competition, would they put the belt on Cena to say, hey, our guy is the GOAT. He's got the most championship reigns of anybody now. What do you got?
I would say if Vince was running the show, yeah.
I agree.
Vince isn't running the show. Hell, did you notice that? You watched Raw the other night? The woo was on the beginning. They didn't take it off.
Yeah.
Because they don't have somebody. Triple H is, and this is vindictive.
Loves Ric Flair.
I mean, but it's like Ric Flair's not going to wrestle. If Ric Flair was in his 30s, maybe, hey, he's on his prime. But I don't think that. I think Triple H, and I think whoever owns them now, it would have been Vince. Yeah. But I noticed that woo about it, and he was in there. That's what happens is with the WWE back in the day. Like, man, who'd this guy come from? Oh no, he's a new wrestler. They never admitted though he was in NWA. He was in Independence. That's like. That was the Vince McMahon era. I don't see it happening.
Yeah,
I think if the writer's strike happened when it did, and Flair signed with AEW like 6 months ago, and Cena was in WWE, they would have put the secondary championship on Cena to make that draw. Mm-hmm. But now it's kind of like this
instead of Seth. You mean?
Yeah, it would have been like Seth versus Cena somewhere.
I see that. Okay, good point.
But now, like, you can't. Flair's not going to wrestle, especially not in AEW.
I hope not.
He won't survive. I think some records you got to keep. You got to let Cena have that one belt missing, the one championship missing, and Cena can go out saying, "I'm retired. I'm one short. It is what it is. Thank you."
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I agree with Warden and Vince. Vince would have made it happen probably the week after Flair signed with AEW if and maybe would have kept it on Cena for like a week just to prove a point. But
or Bob Backlund's reign.
What is up with that too, dude? I never understood that. I mean, it actually come up the other night when I was watching some old on Peacock, and the Diesel beating Backlund in 30 seconds. I know they wanted a dominant big man. You know how Vince is. He likes the big guys. He wanted a dominant big man. But how disrespectful was that to Backlund to let him get beat in 30 seconds? I mean,
Backlund's a professional. I don't think it bothers him.
Yeah. I never heard nothing since, like him being remorseful for it or cranky, nothing.
He doesn't go on there and bitch about it like, some of those kayfabe things on YouTube.
Yeah.
I was at that when Bret Hart, when Owen got the parents to throw in the towel. That happened here at the Survivor Series here. And I was surprised. I was like, wow, they took the title off Bret. And of course I was over because that's when Shawn hit Diesel and he was chasing Shawn in the bed. I mean, that was like when Diesel's thing. Yeah. I don't know. I thought the Diesel thing, I think he gets too much crap. I like the Diesel. I like Diesel. So,
yeah. I'm a Nash fan, so.
Yeah.
But
they were saying he had a failed reign. I mean, come on. Wrestling was kind of going down.
That's just like with Sting. They said Sting's title reign, especially the first one, was failed. But
it's not just one wrestler; it's the company. Come on,
exactly.
Diesel was a champion when there was the big man era. So if it wasn't going to be him, it would have been Yoko. It would have been Bret. It would have been someone else.
Well, they say that about Bret. That Bret didn't. Of course, Shawn Michaels put in his face about
Yeah.
But then again, Shawn Michaels was the same way. It really. Honestly, to be honest, if you want to talk about it, really, there was a big gap between Hogan and Austin. That was the big gap.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I'm looking to see right here. November 23rd, Backlund won the belt then and lost.
1994, right?
Yes.
San Antonio, Texas.
Yep. How long do you think his title reign was, guys?
It's like it happened. That was like on a Sunday, and I think it happened within the next week.
Yeah.
A couple nights later.
3 days.
Yeah.
3 days. Why?
That was on a Sunday night, and then like what, Tuesday or Wednesday in Madison Square Garden?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The only thing, tell me what you guys think here. You think Brett didn't want to drop the title to Diesel?
I can see that.
That Backlund was just a transitional
And
champion.
It was
Backlund
a
is
shake.
Backlund is old school. He's a professional. He would do it.
I've never heard that before, but I mean, why else would you put the title on Backlund for 3 days?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if they really wanted to do it, why didn't they do that with Owen? Why didn't they have Owen do it to Owen and his parents throw in the towel? I mean, that would have been pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, they're fighting it. Why did it have to be, Backlund?
It got that feud with Owen got more heat from him getting her to throw in the towel like that. So
I don't know, man. I think it would have been pretty cool to get his mom to throw in the towel. And why did you throw in the towel, Mom, against Owen? He's always been your favorite. I mean, but when looking back,
the cool thing about that is when Backlund lost his belt to the Iron Sheik, his manager, which is Arnold Scaling, threw the towel in and that's how Iron Sheik won the belt. So it was kind of turnabout's fair play, I guess. But
then you can go back to WrestleMania where was it Yoko and Brett, and then 3 seconds later Hogan comes out and wins the title.
Look, I listened to so much about that whole situation there, and somebody is lying about what happened there, because Brett tells one story, Vince tells another, Hogan tells another one. So
I don't believe anything Hogan says anymore. I'm sorry, but I don't.
Well, Brett says that Hogan told Vince Brett wasn't in his league and he was not going to drop the belt back to Brett after.
And honestly, Hogan was right at that time.
At
the time.
But it's all about, it's a job, dude. It's a
back in the 80s, in the mid 80s. Yeah, I could see him. Brett
it's a freaking job. You lose the title. It's like what Brett did in Montreal. You lose the title. It's a freaking you do your job. Sorry. Great. He was wrong. He got screwed. He deserved to be screwed.
That's an episode.
And I'm not saying, and I'm not just
Great
saying
points of view.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's a job. It's like your boss tells you to do something. They pay you your job. If not, you go on. You know what I mean?
Creative control in somebody's contract was a big mistake to have that happen. I mean, you should never give somebody creative control. I don't care what because it could turn on you in a minute, and it did with Vince.
Oh, yeah.
And there's people that still think that was a work.
Was it work for Sean?
Yeah, definitely.
Sean did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah, watching. I'm sure you guys have probably seen Wrestling with Shadows, the hit documentary. The fact that Brett had a film crew follow him around that night, it kind of makes me wonder. Because in the locker room, you hear Brett ask Sean,
"I swear to God, man,
you know anything about this? I swear to God, I swear to God."
He asked Sean and he asked Hunter.
Yeah,
it is, but I don't know. I think the best thing is the next night when he has the midget come, or a couple of nights later when it was. That was great.
What did he say? Brett came up a little short or something?
Coming up a little short as usual. Yeah.
But I read his book. I read Brett's book. The guy acts like wrestling is freaking 100% real. He is a butthurt guy.
That's his dad coming out in him.
I get the Goldberg thing because Goldberg, but I don't think Goldberg meant to hurt him. Goldberg just didn't know what the hell he was doing.
No way. But
I don't think Goldberg meant to. I don't think he meant to hold. I don't know.
No, I don't. That whole thing about that is just Brett being
Brett.
Yeah, exactly. So now that we got that out of the way, the current stuff out of the way, or current and old stuff, that's definitely another episode.
Oh yeah, 3 points of view of that.
Yeah.
Top 100 entrance themes.
No, top 100. Top 10 favorite wrestling entrance themes. So, gosh, like you said, Pinocchio, I have a lot of honorable mentions here.
Shocking! Shocking!
Exactly. You sound like Goldust then when he had Tourette.
Yeah.
Booker, Booker, Booker. Anyway, hey, maybe Goldust is interesting. We'll make the list.
Could be.
So, Warden.
I think our list is going to be a little bit different because of the generation gap.
Yep.
I think so. Yeah, I know mine's going to be. I think mine will be a little bit different.
Mine's all over the place, dude.
Okay. Well, who wants to go first? I'll go first.
Yeah, you go first this time.
Is that okay with you, Jack?
Yeah.
Don't hurt it, Jack.
Yeah, okay, man. I just want to check, man. I didn't want like something come out of my screen and like, you know.
I should just wear my pads next time. But no, I'm happy. Go for it.
Okay. Now, me and Stevie did a little thing on Gene Simmons the other night, our top 10 Gene Simmons song.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to it. It's a very good episode.
Oh, gosh. He does what I think he's going to do.
So I associate some wrestlers kind of in the same area. So I had a couple ties on mine.
Oh, I don't.
That's just another way of saying I don't have as many honorable mentions as Stevie. So, okay, my number 10 is a tie. These two wrestlers, two of my favorites. They're both big Kiss fans. I'm wearing one of their shirt right now.
Oh.
Okay. Never Gonna Stop Me. The Rob Zombie version that he did, You Think You Know Me.
Mm-hmm.
He came out, Never Gonna Stop Me. That was, God, what, 20 years ago, I guess?
2001 too, yeah.
Yeah, 20 years ago when he did that one. And his tied with Break the Walls Down from Jericho. That was when The Rock was out there talking shit. It was right before 2000. We kept seeing that clock,
Jericho's debut.
that Y2K.
Yeah.
And then he came out, and I mean, just that back and forth with him and The Rock was great. But I mean, I know that if Jericho could keep this theme when he left WWE, this is the iconic Chris Jericho theme.
Yeah.
And I want to mention about honorable mentions with Edge. When he came out at WrestleMania, The South of Heaven, that was freaking great by Slayer. That was awesome because I was like, oh my God, that's Slayer. So that's an honorable mention. But Edge and Jericho, to me, they're big Kiss fans like us.
Yeah.
They're two of my favorites. It's good to see them together in AEW, and that's my number 10. I put them together, and I got one more like that.
That's fair.
So please, Jack, don't hurt me. You know, Hammer, don't hurt them. You know,
I actually bought that Rob Zombie CD for that one song
for that reason, yeah.
before streaming.
Yeah.
So I was like $30 on one song.
Is that the first Rob Zombie song you remember?
No, because I knew him as White Zombie too.
Okay.
Yep.
I was about to say, man, I feel old because I got into White Zombie when they did God of Thunder back in the 80s. So
yep. No, good one. That's a good one. I like that one.
Those two go together. It's like Edge and Christian didn't make my list, but that's that one right there. So that's mine.
Very good.
So just
and I haven't bought a WWE shirt in so long, but I saw him wearing this and going, that's a badass shirt. So I actually bought it.
So
50-year-old man buying a freaking shirt off WWE and had no kids. Loser.
So just looking at update up here, apparently on Collision, Sting, Edge, and Sting makeup, and Darby Allin beat Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, Nick Wayne. It's the last match for Sting.
What do you mean they make up? What do you mean make up?
He's got Sting makeup on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought they had a falling out.
No.
I thought you said makeup. I thought him and Ed Christian made up. And like, what?
Yeah, I was like, that's a big turn. Yeah.
Yeah, Sting's son is ringside. They showed Sting.
Is this his last match or is it next year?
No, this
Next
is
year.
his last match in California. So
Okay.
that's where he's from. So all right, my number 10. And usually my number 10s are nostalgia. I try to reserve that, but the first ever live wrestling match I went to, this guy was there. Not as well known as a lot of these other wrestlers on my list, but he did come out to a Kiss song. I don't know if you guys remember this back in the Crockett days, and this guy debuted with his, Baby Doll of all people was his valet.
Torpedo Girl. I knew it.
Warlord. And he comes out to War Machine by Kiss. And I remember watching him on TV when he came out the first time, and you hear War Machine start. I was like, who the heck is this coming out to Kiss me? Because I don't know if you guys know it, back in the Crockett days, everybody came out to whatever song they wanted to. They could just, I'm like, there was no thought of any paying copyright fees for any of these guys. The Raging Bull came out to Beat It by Michael Jackson when he was a babyface, like in '85. So everybody was just picking songs at random and coming out. Like what Rick Rude and Crockett came out to that Sade Smooth Operator, that
was Rick Rude, right? Rick Rude.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So he comes out to that, but we'll get into some more of the Crockett's later on.
You remember that tag team, the Pretty Young Things? They came out. They wore the jackets and
Coco.
Yeah. Was it Coco Beware?
Yes. They had the glove, the Michael Jackson gloves on and everything.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Who was it that came out? Who was your number 10 then?
It's Warlord, War Machine by the Warlord. You remember the Powers of Pain, Warlord?
I remember Taz coming out to this song. I don't remember Warlord.
Go back and look if you can find it, and I'll see if I can find it on YouTube.
I know, I believe you, because he wears the makeup. He wears Gene's makeup pretty much.
He wasn't even wearing the makeup then.
But remember that we were talking about his makeup? It looks just like Gene's makeup.
Yeah. He must have been a Kiss fan. But
you think? No, I remember Taz coming out to this. That's what it made my honorable mention with Taz, because I remember watching ECW. I didn't even know the Warlord did it. Wow.
The thing about the Warlord back then, when he was at Crockett, he came in there, and Baby Doll, of course, was with Dusty Rhodes at the time. And then, he was catching fire. He was beating guys, kind of like Goldberg did. He was beating these preliminary guys every time.
Huge. The guy was a monster.
And then, the whole thing with Baby Doll and Jim Cornette, Warlord got face to face with Big Bubba, who goes on to be the Big Boss Man. And it looked like, okay, that's going to be the big feud. Then this was something I never understood. You got that going on. And all of a sudden, Baby Doll turns heel, goes with the Horsemen, and the Warlord gets sent to like Central States Wrestling. And, you don't see him again until he comes back maybe a year or two later with the Powers of Pain. I don't know what was going on there, but it was just always confused me because it looked like he was getting ready to go in a big program with Big Bubba, and that just never happened. But number 10,
she was with Tully, then she turned.
She was with Tully, and then Tully slapped her on TV, and then Dusty come out and said, "She's mine now. She belongs to me."
And then she didn't go back to Tully. She went with Flair.
No, she went with Flair. She was all around, and she was married to Sam Houston. So
she was in World Classes. She was called Andrea, the Lady Johnny.
Yeah.
Good pick for that one. Ooh.
Okay, number 10 for you, Pinocchio.
So with my theme songs, I always go with ones when the second you hear it, something's going to happen. It's not just like a generic Jim Johnson guitar riff or something. It's a theme song of a wrestling, shit's about to go down. So my number 10, the way it starts, it hypnotizes you right away. And that's Jake the Snake. You hear that.
Oh, yeah.
That and the snake and everything. So yeah, Jake the Snake. You hear his theme song. You see him walking down with Damien on his back, and it's just something's gonna happen. So Jake the Snake is my number 10.
Jake the Snake, one of my favorites.
That was a good one, and then when he went heel and they changed it, and you just kept hearing him say, "Trust me," and over and over again. Trust me. But Jake is back on AEW. He had been kind of away. I think he was having a little bit of health issues, but it looks like
he's not doing DDP yoga anymore. Whew.
Well, he had a lot of breathing issues. He was on oxygen for a while, and evidently he's back with his ex-wife Cheryl, who we remember from back in the day with the feud with Rick Rude back in the day.
That was his real wife?
Yeah,
she was
real
hot.
life. So
she was hot. She was hot.
they are back together. So evidently, you're just happy to see Jake get his life back straight.
I remember those pants he had on with her face on there. It's like used to be able to go to the mall and get those shirts done. Remember that?
Yeah,
Like
he
that.
was actually, what was it? Was it the first SummerSlam? He was wrestling Junkyard Dog, and Rude got on the top turnbuckle and pulled his pants off and had the Cheryl Roberts one and started doing it. That's when Jake came down and got him. But that was a good feud there for a while. But it's just a shame Jake never got a belt. Not even the IC belt.
Yeah.
Just could. I guess he wasn't dependable.
Well, he was good. No, I don't think it was him. It was. There's that story about he was supposed to win it from the Ultimate Warrior, but the Ultimate Warrior threw a fit or something like that, and that's when McMahon called him, "You're the most unluckiest son of a bitch." Or it was either Hogan or Warrior.
I think we talked about this the last episode, the Snake Pit that never got aired with him and Hogan, and he DDT'd Hogan, and
people cheered.
The crowd cheered more for him than did Hogan, and Vince said, "I'm not having this. I can't."
I was one of them. Like, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, a lot of people were. But let's see. So your number 9, Warden.
Okay, deja vu, another tie.
Oh my gosh.
Already.
This is another tie because these two tag teams were fighting. So when I watched the first tag team when they were in World Class, they didn't come down to the song I picked. They came down to Sweet Home Alabama. And the second team didn't use this song, but the first team telling me, "Hey, man, if you think that song's cool, check out our song." So I go and check that other song. It's Iron Man and Bad Street USA. The Road Warriors and Freebirds were fighting. I think it was AWA at the time. And I remember reading an interview with Michael Hayes saying, "Hey, you think Iron Man by Black Sabbath's badass? Trick his trip down to Bad Street." I'm not a fan of the Cookie Monster voice on Bad Street, but I love the guitars, and I love the guitars on Iron Man. When I heard Iron Man, I was hooked on Sabbath. I was like, "Oh my god, this is the greatest rock band ever!" Because I hadn't discovered Kiss yet, and I just remember, and I still love Bad Street USA. I was doing my list today. I do it on Apple Music. They had it on there, and I just love that guitar. I love the video with him and Gordy and Buddy Roberts and then Iron Man. They tried to do it, in the 90s. Whoa, what a rush. But it wasn't Iron Man. Like when they came out in AWA. Yeah, exactly. What he said. Dude, Iron Man and Bad Street, dude. Just together, man. That's,
Well, what'd you think about that match you were talking about in the AWA with the Freebirds coming out with the Confederate flag hanging across their face? Do you think they could get away with that now?
No
way.
I'm not a fan of the flag, but I don't think everybody that likes that flag is necessarily a racist. I think it's being in the South. I wore it. You look at it now, it has, all these things, but it's like when they made the Dukes of Hazzard. Not all KKK people watch that show. It's just the men of the South. It may mean it, but it is offensive to people. So you got to take that too. But I get that too. Yeah, they couldn't do it nowadays. Didn't they wear that? Didn't they wear that in the, weren't they in that movie with the Highlander? Remember how they were in the beginning? Wasn't he wearing that robe too, Michael Hayes?
I don't know.
But I remember the Freebirds were in that. But
they wore the robe and had it painted across their face.
Because the Road Warriors painted their face.
Yeah, they were trying.
And I just think that he was. I just think he was proud of who they were. That it's like Sweet Home Alabama and the whole Sweet Home Alabama and Southern Man by them and Neil Young, your favorite.
Alabama or Freebird.
Yeah, I think it was Sweet Home Alabama.
No, most of the time they came out to Freebird.
Well, I've seen that. I've seen them come out to both down here. So,
because the funny thing is now on the network, if you watch them, like that awful entrance song they did after Freebird when him and Jimmy Garvin did the whole "Now I'm a Freebird, well, what was your excuse?" And I mean, it is god awful. But instead of playing that now, they play Bad Street. I guess they don't have the rights to that crappy song, but and the bad thing is you see Jimmy Garvin and Michael Hayes up there singing "I'm a Free Bird, what was your excuse?" and Bad Street's playing in the background. I'm like, oh my god, they screwed this up.
That's happened to a lot of theme songs.
That guitar from Bad Street's just. I mean, that's just so great. It's just so cheesy. I love it.
So
did I read the theme song?
Number 9 for sure now. Freebirds and what?
Freebirds and Iron Man.
Okay.
Sabbath.
Did I read the Freebirds song was like one of the first theme songs ever made?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I remember you'd buy those wrestling magazines back in the 80s, and they always had an ad in there where you could order. Michael Hayes did an actual album. It wasn't just Bad Street; it was a whole album.
With this Paul Stanley chest hanging out.
Yeah, yeah. He had it all hanging out. But I was like, wow, somebody actually ordered. If anybody out there has that Michael Hayes album, please let me know. You do? Okay.
I did.
Dude.
Yeah, I probably bought it.
Dude.
We didn't have Spotify back then, Jack. We had to buy the album.
I actually bought what album? The Wrestling album, Pile Driver.
And Pile Driver.
Pile Driver was freaking awesome.
I like the rest of that. Na 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 na. Going on, dude. I like the Piper song. And what was the one with Pile Driver where they're out there working construction and
that was
girls walking by and Coco Beware? It feels
evidently,
like Pile Driver.
Evidently, Coco was the only one that could hold a tune for him to be the guy that was singing that song. And I figured he might get a push off of that, but it didn't happen.
He got in the Hall of Fame.
Don't even get me started on that.
You know, man, what was the bird's name? Sammy, or what was this a bird's name?
No, it wasn't Sammy. Gosh, what was his name? Frankie. Yeah.
I wonder if Frankie went to Hollywood.
Relax, man. Don't do it. All right. So
that was too quick. That was too quick, Stevie. You were already thinking, our minds are just like,
Talk about Frankie Says Hollywood. That's the only thing you think of is relax. If you can.
I think about the video and I try not to.
Exactly. It's awful. All right, my number 9. And you mentioned him earlier.
Who?
But my number 9 is Edge, but it's Metalingus from Audible. When he came out with, of course when he debuted, he had the whole "You Think You Know Me," which was good. But when he came out with the whole that Metalingus starts playing, and I immediately became an Alter Bridge fan. I'm a huge Alter Bridge to this day. But you think about, and he's actually contacted Alter Bridge and asked permission.
He's buddies with him.
Yeah, so he's friends with him. And he's doing that same, but the lady that does the "You Think You Know Me" at it is actually his wife, Beth Phoenix, saying it this time. So,
wow.
Yeah, so it was kind of cool that he was able to keep that and move on. Jericho didn't get to keep Break the Walls or anything like that, but Jericho, and that's
Judas is awesome. Oh man, I forgot about Judas.
I was just sitting here saying that. I forgot about Judas.
I love that. God, I love that song.
Dude, I love Judas. But Edge, Metalingus, when the pyro goes off, everything on his entrance, just freaking awesome. But Metalingus with Edge.
That's a good one. Yeah. I'm glad he kept it. And I think his theme song now says "You Don't Know Me," or oh God, because it doesn't say "You Think You Know Me." I think it's like "You Don't Know Me."
Oh, really?
Yeah. He can't keep "You Think You Know Me." So,
okay.
It should be "If You Don't Know Me by Now."
Oh my God, what was
that? That was
great.
Stevie.
That would be one of the
Hey, you watch it, man. We're gonna get a copyright hit on that.
Exactly.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
better than the original, dude. So you know,
It's like Simply Red right then. All right, number 9, Pinocchio.
9 for me. All right, so this is like a he's probably a top 3 or top 4 favorite wrestler of mine of all time.
Adrian Adonis. I knew it.
It is. No. But when you hear it, you just know that everything he does is perfect. And that's Mr. Perfect. He comes out, throws a towel over his shoulder,
I see
spits
what
his gum out.
The gum.
I like the thing when he was an announcer and he did his pencil, and he slipped it.
Yeah,
like
and he catches it. He's like, but no, Mr. Perfect. You just know, like, because he has my favorite finisher of all time. The Perfect Plex is my favorite finisher.
That's a good move. I remember when he used to be in AWA and he used to get his ass kicked by the Road Warriors all the time.
Him and his dad.
Yeah.
So Mr. Perfect.
So that I was just watching. They're one of the best angles that nobody really talks about anymore. Of course, the whole Randy Savage, the Ultimate Warrior, heading Survivor Series to face Flair and Ramon, and then Ultimate Warrior gets fired, and they've got to come up at the last minute with somebody to get in there with Savage, and they do the whole show, that primetime show.
That was great. Yeah, it was great.
The whole show, back and forth. It's Heenan, Perfect, Hillbilly Jim, Hacksaw Duggan, and
Mach is like on the camera somewhere.
They had him via satellite. Then they had Flair and Ramon via satellite from Charlotte, and to see. And when Heenan slaps Perfect, like, you're gonna listen to Flair, and all of a sudden he slaps him. Heenan is so great because when Perfect gets mad, he said, "Oh, don't hurt me. I didn't mean it. I'll buy you a boat. I'll buy you a car."
Yeah. That was because you knew watching that whole program what was going to happen.
Yeah,
he knew he was going to go with Savage.
But the thing that created, though, you didn't know when that whole match was Perfect going to turn on Savage. Was it all a ruse? And they were just going to get Savage, but it didn't happen that way. But yeah, I can see that Perfect as number 9 for Pinocchio. Okay.
Yep.
All right, Ward, number 8.
Oh, sorry, I will say real quick. A lot of mine, I'm not a fan of theme songs with words. I love the music, so little hints for later on.
I got you. Number 8, Warden.
Ooh, 8.
Number 8 for me. Speaking of Macho Man Randy Savage, Pomp and Circumstance. Whoa. Not the yeah he had in WCW. That drove me nuts.
Yeah.
Not the other one he did with with Gorgeous George. Hey, Mach.
What's up, Mach?
But the original WWE run he had before, I don't know if he changed it with the King or whatever. I don't remember. When he first showed up, even with Elizabeth, and when he was that heel going against Hogan, that was my favorite era of Macho Man, But it had to be Pomp, and actually, this one's not a tie. Aren't you proud of me, guys?
Hey.
Pomp and Circumstance, and every time you hear that at graduation, you're like, "Ooh, yeah!"
You want to drop an elbow on somebody?
But Macho Man, one of my top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time. Love Savage.
And he would have been this past week would have been
like 70 or 70 something.
It was his birthday this week.
Did they ever find out what happened to his brother?
I have no heard for sure what happened to Lanny Poffo.
Because apparently he was in South America. That's where he was living.
Nobody said anything about him being sick. I don't know if it was.
No one did.
Well, I mean, Savage had a heart attack. Why not?
Let me see if it says anything about his death up here.
Because that kind of just disappeared.
It did.
You know what? It sucks about the two brothers is their dad and mom lived to be so old.
Heart failure.
Savage. What was Savage in his 59, 60 barely, and just had a heart? I mean, wow.
58, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was young.
Yeah. It just sucks with Savage is that, man, the guy had so many demons. He made up with Hogan. He was peaceful. He met the love of his life. He reconnected with the love of his life. Yeah. He was peaceful and happy, and bam. I mean, that happens in life, man. You get content, you get happy, and hey, it's time to die. I mean,
that's all gone.
we were talking about Michael Hayes' album earlier, but anybody out there have a Randy Savage "Be a Man" rap album out there?
What?
You have never seen that, Pinocchio?
No.
You need to
Oh,
look.
really? That's
Pinocchio.
horrible.
Look
I'll
up.
write it down. Be a man. Huh?
YouTube, "Be a Man." He takes it's a whole song where he takes shots at Hulk Hogan the whole time.
Oh no! Yes, I know the one now. Yes.
Yes. Be a
I just
man.
remember seeing him in Spider-Man and just how. I mean,
Oh,
it's like, God, he was,
I got you for 3 minutes.
and I was like, man, you're kind of old to be that pumped up, right?
Did he have
extensions in
like back injuries? Because when he was turning around the movie, he was doing his whole body.
Well, he was
You're
so
going
stiff from the
nowhere.
roar, just he couldn't move. I don't know.
You're going nowhere.
Freak show.
You think about it. You think about him when he came out of ICW into the WWE, how he was built, but he was thin, and he was he just got over the years just got bigger and bigger. Like when he's in WCW, he was huge.
Yeah,
and that's another guy. Like I hated seeing him in WCW. I mean, yeah, he was the one that. I mean, everybody talks about his ego, but he's the one that took the leg drop from Hogan.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you think Bret Hart would have done that?
No. I don't think at the time anyone else would.
Because Savage, I think Sting would have, because Sting was like rumored to be the heel. He was before Hogan said he would do it.
That was one of the plans was Sting.
Yeah, but it got me about that is about maybe he got pissed off about later life, but I mean Savage was old school. He was a team player.
That's the thing. The old school mentality is what got
honestly him. I would have took it. But they just had so many things where the NWO would always beat him up. Then he joins them. I'm like, oh, come on.
But you watch that Bash of the Beach. What do you remember? Hogan turning on whoever was in that ring at that time.
It was Savage.
And it's always going to be Savage now.
Yeah,
it's funny. It's funny that night that they did turn, and I always remember because I was at the Kiss reunion show. And I remember like, God, I love Kiss, but I want to see what's going to happen. Because I remember before the dirt sheets, the internet was kind of just getting started. And Piper said on one of the dirt sheets, Hogan told me he's going to turn. It got out. I don't think it caught on like it would now.
Yeah.
But Piper broke the news. And I remember coming home and my buddy's like, oh, my roommate's going, dude. I go, Hogan turned. You go, yes. Finally, I can cheer for Hogan.
Yeah, the backup plan was if Hogan decided not to, that Sting was going to do it. That's why.
It wouldn't have been as it wouldn't have been.
That's why Luger got eliminated early in that match, so they could make it 2-on-2, and then if Sting turned, he just beat the crap out of Savage. Which Savage, I guess Savage would have took it either way if Sting had done it or Hogan had done it.
But you watch it now, and if you didn't know and you heard Bobby going, but whose side is he on? Like,
he just
gave it away.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Bobby, why?
And it's so funny. You watch that, and you watch about like Dusty Rhodes talking all shit. So who does Dusty Rhodes eventually joins the NWO?
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
But whose side is he on?
What about
that was all ad-libbed. That was all ad-libbed. They did not know.
Yeah. Hulk Hogan, you can go to hell.
Schiavone was great. Bobby Heenan was great.
All right.
Who's bad now, boys?
My number 8 is the legend, and I guess he shares this theme music with another legend, is Ric Flair, 2001 Space Odyssey. He shares it with Elvis. But yeah, back in the day, boy, in the 80s, looking everywhere trying to find this song, you wanted to have it and just play it. But I remember my mom had so many Elvis records, I didn't have to worry about it. So the live version of it. But yeah, when you heard that, you knew you would get it. But what did Flair say? School's about to start. The school's in session. I mean, it was just great back in the day. You always knew you were going to get a great match when you heard that song. But he does it. But then it got crappy. Like they tried to make it too, and I guess they had to change it a little bit to make it sound different because of copyright stuff. But throwing. I wasn't a fan of throwing the woo in the front of it. I wish they would just left it that out of it. But yeah, Ric Flair theme song is my number 8.
You may be hearing a little bit about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
I think he kind of has that theme a little bit. You kind of hear it a little bit in AEW now. But not as much. But it's like Jake the Snakes in AEW. You can kind of hear a little bit. So,
well, that's just like Charlotte's theme is just a rock version of 2001: Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
I mean,
but now she has, instead of the woo, she has like all hail, all bow down to the Queen or something.
Yeah. All right. Pinocchio, number 8.
Number 8. All right. So I'm not a fan of this wrestler, but I can understand why he had this theme at the time. I believe he had it in the 80s as well. And that's Hulk Hogan, Real American. I think he had it just to be, say your prayers, take your vitamins. But it's an iconic theme. It's the red and yellow. You hear it come out. So, and I'm a fan of Rick Derringer as well. He's all right.
It wasn't his song originally. It was for Barry Windham and Mike Rotunda.
Yeah.
The American Express, I think they were called.
Yeah, Express.
And they went to NWA, or at least I know Barry Windham did. So then Hogan pretty much got it.
And have you?
I like I like that guitar. He did another version with like horns in it. It's not good. I like that. I like that. And
have you heard what Hogan's theme song was before that?
Oh, well, no, what was it?
Yeah, it was that just what you said when they chant Hulk over and over.
Yeah, that was the one they played on Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling.
Yeah, that was it. I don't think that would have the same effect.
Well, he did Eye of the Tiger too for a while.
Yeah, I guess WWE thought on early on that okay, we're gonna have to pay copyright fees for this if we keep on doing this. But
I like that better than his Voodoo Child one. I wasn't a fan of that.
Not me either. I like that song, but I just didn't like the.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my like I said. I'm not a big fan of Hulk Hogan. I don't know why. I got it, but I'm just not a fan. But it's an iconic theme.
I always looked at him, being a Crockett guy, especially when I first started really getting into it. I kind of looked at him as the enemy because
Exactly. Flair and my Horsemen were my dudes.
Yeah, and I mean, I always looked at him like everybody was saying, "Oh, you get into freaking discussions about it. Flair wouldn't be able to beat Hogan." I was like, Hogan can't do crap with Flair. But
the best thing about the WWE back in the 80s were the heels, were Jesse Ventura, were Bobby Heenan. It was that the baby faces were all like for kids. They were for little kids. You had all these characters. To me, the NWA was more believable. The WWE, WWF, excuse me. I get why they'd go there because that's where you'd make the money. But they'd go there like half the times they'd screw up the gimmick. Dusty Rhodes, Terry Taylor, But like Stevie said earlier, Big Boss Man was a good. I liked him as Bubba myself because he was no frills. I like the Big Boss Man.
Yeah. Boss Man, to look at, of course, he was, if you watch like early 86, maybe late 85, old NWA on TBS shows, he was an enhancement wrestler called Ray Traylor by his real name. And Cornette saw him and just said, okay, we can do something with this guy. But to look at how much weight he lost, he slimmed down in WWF and he was fast. I mean, he was impressive. He had
a hell of a run too in WWE.
They should have put a belt on him one time or another. I would have loved to seen him like maybe be perfect for the Intercontinental belt one time. Maybe lose it back to him. But you need to put a belt on him. He worked.
And he would have made my list last time. But he held the Universal Champ, the UWF title.
WWF, won it from Terry Gordy.
Wasn't he? Yeah, Dick Terry Gordy. Yeah, him and Gordy fighting were great.
Yeah, then he lost to Dr. Death. He lost the belt back to Dr. Death. That was the last UWF.
All three of those are gone now, Stevie.
Yep.
The only thing bad about Dr. Death, he was a Sooner.
They won this weekend.
Yep,
Who?
they did.
Oklahoma.
We don't care. We don't talk about Oklahoma here.
You don't care.
How the hell are you an Oklahoma fan?
Because of Jim Ross.
Grilling JR.
There's a lot of. I'm trying to think of the wrestlers that went to UT, but you're right, Jim Ross. Okay.
So who is that? You're next, Gordon. Number 7.
Okay, this is another one. Speaking of wrestlers in WCW that went to WWEF or whatever, and they made them. And guess what, boys? This is another tie.
Good gosh.
Well, I will defend myself because
the record for ties
when these two boys jumped to WCW, WWE felt they had to bring back their characters, not the guys, but the character. And I'm talking about the bad boy, Razor Ramones, with the guitar, the things, spinning out the car.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about Diesel Blues with the da-na, da-na. I love that song. To me, these two go together. These two go together because Razor Ramon, they went to WCW, and WWE had to bring them back together. And it wasn't Scott Hall and Kevin Nash; it was Razor Ramon and Diesel.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's the Razor Ramon theme and the Diesel theme. And like I remember a few years, I think it was the Royal Rumble, and they play that, and like Kevin Nash comes out. I think he tore his quad walking down the aisle, But those two of my favorites, Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, just two of my Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash, I guess.
Yep.
Just two of my favorite WWE guys. I love them as the outsiders. I just wish the NWA WO should have left them at just a few here.
They got too many people.
Too many people. When Buff Bagwell joined them, I'm like, okay. Disco Inferno, it was over.
Buff wasn't bad. Mike Rotunda or whatever he was, VK Wall Street back then. When he joined, I was like, okay. And then they did, Vincent.
Oh,
I mean, and a lot of people don't realize, he was named Virgil in WWF, and that was a shot at.
That was a shot at Vince.
Virgil.
It got a.
Then WCW calls him Vincent, like Vincent Kennedy McMahon. So they were taking shots back and forth at each other through him.
I remember one time somebody reading about, I think David Cover was talking about Whitesnake, how so many people joined. It looked like the United Nations. That's what the NWA became. NWO became.
And then you had
too many people.
Then you had the Wolfpack, NWO Hollywood, and then you had the LWO. Yeah, so
LWO.
How long they were going to have? I don't know what other world order. Everybody was going to be in a freaking world order before long.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous. It got ridiculous. It got old at that. They should have just kept it. And then the whole finger poke of doom with Nash losing the belt to Hogan off a finger poke, and the Wolfpack and Hollywood joins back together. Then you had NWO 2000.
And you had NWO Sting, the fake Sting. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well, that was actually, I remember watching that the night when they did the whole, made it look like he was in the limo talking to DiBiase, and then the War Games where he actually came out there. The fake one came out there, and they were like, "Look at him! Look at Sting! Look at Sting!" And then all of a sudden, it's not Sting. Here's the real Sting. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Gee, where did we see that before? Undertaker.
I wonder who. Yeah, Undertaker. That was Brian Lee.
I had a buddy of mine, my ex-roommate at the time. He swore up and down that the Undertaker, that after that happened, they got the fake one. They switched him out. I'm like, dude, shut up. He believed that. And I'm like, really?
I don't know.
I know. I agree. I agree with you. He's wrong. So
yeah. All right. My number 7. And this group, it's a tag team. They had three different songs or entrance themes when they were in NWA, WCW. The Steiner Brothers. And it's not the Steiner line. I didn't like that one at all. I think they called it Swamp Dog. If you look it up online on YouTube, you can find it. It was the one right after they were using Welcome to the Jungle at first. And I guess, they decided no copyright. We're not going to pay the copyrights for that. So they go to another one. There was actually 4. They did 4. This was the second one, but Swamp Dogg is kind of, I don't know how to tell you how it goes, but just fit them to a T. And one of the greatest tag teams of all time. And I will say this: I like that version of Scott Steiner better than I do Big Papa Pump. That version of Scott Steiner was more athletic. He wasn't as, he was getting built, but he wasn't so built that he couldn't do some of these moves that he was doing. You had the Frankensteiner. They did the DDT off the top turnbuckle. He did the tilt-a-whirl, stuff you had never seen before. But one
where he flipped and like put the guy in his scissors and did that one over his, what, Frankensteiner or whatever that was? God.
Yeah. I remember the first time I saw that, and Jim Ross almost had a stroke. Say what you want to, Jim Ross is one of the best announcers of all time, because just like a moment,
even though he's a Sooner,
he took his head off.
Even though he's a Sooner, so
he broke in half.
Good.
I don't know if y'all have seen this on TikTok, and I wish I could remember the guy's name that does it, but it's a guy on there, and he's a black guy, but he takes like moments between Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross. You hear the audio playing, and he dresses up like Lawler and JR, and it switches back and forth, and he's just lip syncing to what they're saying. Oh my God, it is hilarious because he's got it right on it every time. But yeah,
reminds me of that song by Styx, "Too Much Time on My Hands."
Too much time. Yep. So Steiner's Swamp Dogg is my number 7. What is Pinocchio's number 7?
Number 7. So this is excuse me, probably like one of my latest ones, like from the 90s. Well, they're all from the 90s, but this is probably the one from the latest time. It's a fun group. You hear it, something's going to happen to somebody. Someone's going to get their pants pulled down. Someone's going to chant, "Suck it." And that's DX. You hear that bass line, and you just know something's going to happen. Triple H, Shawn were in the face cage where Sergeant Slaughter was talking to him with the wipers on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You knew for a little bit, for 10, 15 minutes, you're going to have a laugh. Something's going to happen. Someone's going to be humiliated. And you hear that, DX, "Are you ready?"
DX, I like going back and watching those things they did with Hornswoggle in the Little People's Court. God, that shit is so funny. And then that one where, "Shawn, they just say you're not controversial." "What? I'm not controversial?" And he like walks off those guys. And
he asked the guy, "What's your name?" And
that was
they were the best group to bring in the Attitude Era when they said, "We can no longer say beep. We can no longer say beep." What do you mean we can't say that? So
yeah, and it's funny, like you saw them later when they're doing the dirty stuff, and Shawn's become a born again Christian, and they're like something with Triple H and stuff, and "Hey, Shawn, isn't that Mr. Fuji?" "What? Mr. Fuji?" And he runs off, and then Triple H does the dirty stuff. That's just funny too.
The funniest part, or one of them, when they dropped the so-called shit on the McMahons of the Spirit Squad, and the crowd started yelling, "Holy shit!" And Triple H said, "Yep, just because Shawn did it, it is holy shit." So, yeah.
Remember the one where the Triple H had that girl take her top off? That was what the Attitude Era was.
Yeah.
The girl in the crowd. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, Stone Cold gets a lot of the credit for Attitude Era, and he's the face of it. But it wouldn't, like you said, Jack, it wouldn't have started without your Rooster. And it wouldn't have started without the DX, because what they were doing, they had to do that to survive. It's like Kiss taking the makeup off, Kiss putting the makeup back on. You're in the middle of something, you do what you have to survive, and they got dirty. They don't have to
come back for the NWO.
Yeah.
They needed that faction.
Yeah, and you always kind of wonder, because Shawn went out that time with the back stuff, but when Triple H took that on over, I think that's probably why he's one of my favorites of all time, is because he kept the flag going, because a lot of people probably didn't think he could do it without Shawn, because Shawn was the face of the company for so long. But you think of it now, and you think about who's running the show now, and I know WWE is not my favorite, but oh my God, Triple H's booking is a lot better than. I mean, it's good stuff, man. I dig it.
You can tell the difference in the ideas of a match now. So
yeah, oh yeah.
So updating on this AEW pay-per-view, some interesting stuff here. So MJF and there goes the rooster.
I try to mute
it. MJF and Samoa Joe beat the Guns for the Ring of Honor, or they defend their Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship against the Guns. After the match, though, this is interesting now. The Guns attacked MJF after the match with steel chair.
He walks off.
Wrapped around his ankle. Adam Cole was there, though. MJF was stretched out of the arena and placed an ambulance. Adam Cole promised to help retain MJF's AEW World Championship before the ambulance door was closed. So, do we see the devil tonight unmasked? Would it not be funny if it was MJF the whole time?
And he did wear the mask in a few entrances, but I hope it's somebody else.
It would be so funny though if he turned back like full-fledged heel again. But I think the crowd was still cheering. All right, number 6 for Mr. Warden.
Mr. Warden is a repeat. Talking about it's funny. I've never seen the movie. I know the song more from Ric Flair. 2001 Space Odyssey. It always reminds me of Starrcade. When you got him coming out there, like the Flair for the gold, I think that's kind of when he started using it against Harley Race. Was it Harley Race or Dusty Rhodes?
Flair for the gold was Harley Race. That was 83.
Yeah, that was 83. Where he just comes out and it's just, but when they give it to Charlotte, I'm like, come on, get your own theme song. You already used your dad's move. I mean, I've never seen the movie, but every time I hear this, I think, woo! I think Ric Flair. I mean, it can be in whatever. You see him on commercials. I think Ric Flair. That's what it's done to me. Like, he's one of my favorites of all time. When he was fighting the Von Erichs, and I remember just looking at them as kind of like, regional, but, seeing Ric Flair go, that's the man. I mean, the song does it too, because he's custom fit from head to toe, Ric Flair.
Yeah, whenever you hear that song, I'm like you automatically think Flair. I mean, it's not even Elvis for me anymore. It's just Flair.
Yeah.
But, all right. Number 6 for me, and Pinocchio will probably like this because he's a cornet guy. Evidently, the Rooster likes it again. But talking about these guys, the Midnight Express, which was actually a song called The Chase by Giorgio Moroder, and it was for a movie. But, finding that over the years, I remember the first time I found it, and I was like, holy crap, I got the Midnight Express theme music. I'm like, down, 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 down. At first, it wasn't that cool to me, but it became, it's such an iconic song, and you always knew what that was associated with was Beautiful Bobby, and whether it was Stan Lane or Dennis Condrey. But yeah, Midnight Express.
And Dennis Condrey wasn't beautiful, by the way.
Bobby wasn't beautiful either, but come on.
Stan Lane was beautiful.
Loverboy, he was Loverboy Dennis. So, and then Sweet Stan. Favorite version of the Express for you guys? Was it Condrey or Lane with Eaton?
Stan Lane.
Yes. A lot of people like the Eaton and Condrey, but and I know some wrestlers, like Dusty. I heard an old interview with Dusty where he liked Eaton and Condrey better, but freaking Lane, they did moves. With Condrey, it was pretty much the same move. I mean, they did, what was it, the rocket launcher? They did that, but Cornette would come up with all these freaking names like Vegematic, the Flapjack. What was it? I don't even remember the one where Lane would get on his knees and Bobby would come clothesline the guy, and Lane went under their legs at the same time. He called one. This was so great. I remember the day I watched it and saw it. Bobby Eaton takes a guy and he's got his like shoulder like this and then just drops down. And Cornette said, "You know what that's called? That's called divorce court because it separates your shoulder straight from your body." So, I mean, what can you say about Cornette? He could come up with some stuff, but yeah. Number 6 for me is the Midnight Express thing.
Midnight Express.
Boom, boom,
Two
boom.
things about that. I remember my first wrestling magazine I ever bought. It was Pro Wrestling Illustrated. It had the Rock and Roll Express and the Fabulous Ones on the cover. And it was an article like, are these guys going to change partners? Because Stan Lane was there with Skeeter. What was that guy? And it became Skeeter.
Yeah, Steve Kern.
Yeah, Steve Kern. And they were called the Fabulous Ones. And the Rock and Roll Express were real big. But I remember that was my first wrestling magazine. It was like it had to be 85, 86.
Yeah.
But Midnight Express, that song too, it not only reminds me of the Midnight Express. There was a talk show guy on. He'd come on at midnight. I don't know if you may have heard of him, Stevie. His name was Art Bell, and he talked paranormal and all that UFOs and ghost stuff. But that was his theme song. And I think it's called Coast to Coast now. There's another guy hosting it. They still use that theme song. So talk about one of the most iconic theme songs. That didn't make my list, but that's an honorable mention for me.
Oh, good.
I like the Fabulous, were the guys in AEW used? They were using that one.
FTR.
There was another
FTR.
version of it. That's a pretty cool version too.
Yeah.
I think they even asked Jim or something because I was listening to one of his podcasts and he said they did it as respect for the Midnight. So
let me ask y'all this. FDR, do they remind you more of the Midnights or Arn and Tully?
Arn and Tully.
yeah, unentirely easy.
I think Arn and Tully too. They throw that out there a lot, that they patterned themselves a lot after, like, I mean, when you look at it, probably more Arn and Bobby Eaton, the two greatest tag team wrestlers of all time, I think.
I agree with you. Yeah.
All right. Number 6.
Not that you're partial to Arn or anything, Stevie.
Not at all.
I'm partial to Midnight, so it's okay.
All right. Pinocchio, number 6.
Number 6. So this is probably I was going through my list now. Probably my first WCW one. And this guy had a couple of themes, but this one I love the best. And that's Sting, the Crow Sting.
Oh, wow.
Especially at Starrcade. I am a fan of the man called Sting when he was Surfer Sting, but this one, I think this is the best one for the time. With the lightning and the scorpion in the sky, the lasers.
Yeah. That whole build up to that when he came out that night, and then you see the whole light show and then hear that music. I mean, it totally fit his whole persona. I was more of a fan of like you said, and it was probably the one before Man Called Sting, because I'm like you, Pinocchio. Some of this stuff I don't like the words on there. I mean, when they kept just saying, you have a line in there, he does this, he does that. I mean, come on, who's writing this stuff? Just leave it up. Let him have the old the first theme he came out to was great. I really like that. But that totally fit. Big disappointment of a match that night. I remember we got the pay-per-view and I was sitting there like, and I was saying that night, they totally screwed this up. I mean, they totally screwed it up. And then that was, a lot of the guys that were working there, Shivani said it, that they felt like that was the beginning of the end for them. They had all that build up and had everybody like that, and then to go out there and lay an egg like that, I mean, it was a screwed up situation. I mean, and then you hear the stories about, well, Sting didn't have a tan. Bischoff said Sting didn't have a tan, stuff like that. That was just Hogan saying, maybe I don't want to lose the belt to him tonight.
Doesn't have a tan, but he wears face paint. I mean,
come on. Face paint. He's supposed to be a freaking guy hanging in the rafters. How is he going to have a tan?
He's meant to be someone who's been hiding away for a year. He's like on the beach.
Wow.
But that's Hogan coming out again, doing his Hogan thing.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yep. Creative control, buddy.
I am not a big Sting fan. I think by the time I liked Sting he was in UWF. When he first kind of started out, he was with Eddie Gilbert, Missy Hyatt. I kind of liked him then. I'm more of a fan of the man Sting. I think he's a good guy.
Yeah.
I think he got screwed when he went to WWF and Triple H beat him, and I like Triple H, but they should have let Sting win. But then again, that's Vince McMahon not letting WCW win.
No, that wasn't going to happen.
I wish he would have went to WWE and not TNA. I think he wasted a lot of years. I think the guy's a good guy, but I'm not a big fan of the guy. So I don't know what song you're talking about. I really, like I said, I kind of checked out on Sting. He was just kind of, I remember my roommate at the time, he just thought the Crow Sting was great. And I'm like, people that wear makeup, that's just so stupid, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sarcasm.
But that whole Sting WrestleMania, Vince taking one last dig at WCW, that you look back at it now, do you guys remember that match well?
Mm-hmm.
See, this is what I don't get, because I saw it. You had NWO come out.
Mm-hmm.
You had DX come out. Shawn was in NWO 2001, comes out in DX. The whole clique is against
But what about X-Pac?
X-Pac comes out, who was in NWO as well, but was in DX. That was the curtain call again. Because they all hugged at the end.
Yeah.
That was just a big FU to WCW again from Vince. Saying, you know what, I'm going to do it one more time, and I'm going to bring out everyone's friend.
You talk about Ward and about Sting should have gone to WWE, and Sting said several times the reason he didn't go as early as he did, he was skeptical about going, was he saw what Vince did to guys that were made in WCW. You know, he
didn't do that. Not
very,
Booker T.
he was very skeptical about it.
I get that.
Yeah.
The biggest one was when Booker was in the ring and The Rock turns around. He looks at him and goes, "Who are you?" And Sting goes, "I knew. I made the right decision not to go."
Yeah. Well, you look at Jericho got a push.
Yeah, but Jericho before NWO went he joined before he joined before the WCW. He went before the other ones had to.
Yeah.
Like Vince won that fight. Jericho jumped ship before.
Yeah,
he did it for himself.
Yeah.
And Jericho really wasn't established as Sting. So he was younger, I guess.
He was light heavyweight champion at the time, you know what I mean?
But he was getting ready to be in a feud with Goldberg. I mean, and that was some real life heat there too. So, I mean, he was up there. Right before he left WCW is one of my favorite Chris Jericho's, because when he did the whole freaking list of 1,000 holds, I mean, when they go to commercial and they come back, he's still in the ring reading off his moves. It's so hilarious. That was probably one of the first times I was like, okay, he's a heel, but I've got to pull for this guy. He's hilarious.
That WrestleMania you talk about, Jack, that WrestleMania, to me, the highlight was when Seth cashed in the Money in the Bank. I love that. When Brock and Reigns were beating the shit out of each other. And I think it was in San Francisco, and he cashed it in. I was like, God, that's a great. I was one of the best, and Seth became champion.
I think it was the best cash in, and it was the best way for Brock to not lose because they pinned Roman instead.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I love that. That was great. I'm a big Seth guy, so.
All right. Number 5 for you, Mr.
Halfway.
My turn?
Yep. Number 5.
We talked about him earlier. And he has so many themes, and his niece uses this theme, not this theme, but part of this theme. And every time I hear it, it drives me nuts because it doesn't go into the theme I want. The theme that I like. This is Bret Hart's Heart Attack, which is the one that's got the extended solos. And I hear Natty's theme now, and it's got the intro to it. Then it goes to like some stupid ass keyboards. The one I'm talking about was when Bret was champion, and I think it's the one where they play it like I think when Shawn came out there, and it was like the whole theme. It's the one it was when he was champion, when he was in his reign. But I've always liked it. It came on I think it was the wrestling album when they finally released all of them, like 94, 95. Yeah. It's the one that's got the I can't wait to be with my baby tonight or whatever. I mean, Jeff Jarrett, which is actually the Road Dogg. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good tune. I actually like that song. Yeah. With my baby tonight. I actually dig that song.
That is a good song.
That was like the first one of themes they released.
Yeah,
and it has like the Undertaker's on there. It has like 1, 2, 3 Kid, but it has the Heart Attack. It's by that's my favorite Bret Hart version because it's just a long jam, and it's the same one. It's got Diesel's on there and Razor Ramones. I remember when that came out, I had to like go to Sound Warehouse, is a place that used to be around, to go get it. It was like 20 miles away. My roommate's like, get that? It's like, dude, I love that song. I gotta have it. Nerd.
That Jim Johnston doing that? Yeah, I wonder if he does Hard.
No, it's Jimmy Hart and I think it's Jimmy Hart and Jim Johnson.
Because is that the same? They used that. I don't know if they used that version when he was with Jim Neidhart. Before
I don't know, but I just remember that's the one that they always played like the video when they were like calling him out and they kept playing it. And it's dun-dun-dun-dun. It's just the one that keeps going on. And it's got guitar solos in it.
Yeah. It's almost like the Half Foundation one, but a tiny bit different, I believe.
Yeah, this is the one he had when he was like champion, when his long reign. It was around when he fought Shawn in that area, early 90s and stuff. But like I said, Natty has a version, and I think the one she has is the old Heart Foundation one, and it's a little bit different. Yeah, it starts that way, and it's got like keyboards, and it's just
yeah. All right, my number 5, and all I'm going to say for this one, Pinocchio loved this one. Oh, you didn't know?
Oh yeah.
Your ass better call somebody.
That was close for me, man. Oof.
And listening to Road Dogg talk about this sometimes, he said, the best part of our matches was probably the entrance. After that, everything went to hell in a handbag after that. But
Really? He said that?
Yeah, he did say that.
Yeah.
Was that a shot at Billy or what?
No, it was a shot. No, it was a shot at.
Was that himself?
He'll say it several times. He was not that great of a wrestler. He was all about what he could do with it.
A lot. I mean, honestly, a lot of them weren't. I mean, it's I don't know. I guess some people maybe, and I get why the wrestler does it, but I think you're watching pro wrestling. You really shouldn't expect a bunch of shit. And then they're not a great. I mean, it's like Nikki Bella wrestling. Who cares if she can wrestle and do a hip toss? I just want to watch her. And the same thing is about wrestling with the guys. It's just if it's entertaining. I mean, it's I don't know. I guess I'm not as critical as some of them are. I never got that though.
Yeah, but hearing it the first time, and even when they were heels, when they would come out and start, you'd hear the crowd just do it right along. And then when he did the whole intro, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages,
DX
Generation X proudly presents its tag team champions of the world. Yeah. I mean,
the badass Billy Gunn.
It sounded so freaking awkward when he came out there by himself when they had the little split.
Yeah.
And when he would talk about like being the
what Stevie, you weren't a big fan of Ass Man? I'm an Ass Man.
How about Chuck and Billy?
Oh.
Or the Smoking Guns, remember that with the gunshots?
Yeah. Yeah. And they actually brought cap guns out to the ring and started firing cap guns off. I was like, oh my
Not God. Today, they wouldn't have.
No.
I say back in the day. How about, and look, this is totally off subject. Do you guys remember Matt Bourne?
Mm.
When Matt Bourne,
Doink the Clown? Yeah, Doink the Clown.
Before he became Doink the Clown, he was in
he was in World Class too. He wrestled down there.
He was in WCW and they called him Big Josh.
Yeah.
Big Josh, yep.
One of the pay-per-views, he comes to the ring with 2 bears.
Yeah.
They've got 2 bears walking beside him. They were talking about him on one of the podcasts. I don't know if it was Siobhan.
Nikita Koloff and Ivan Koloff? Those 2 bears? Oh.
Yeah, they said the bears were shitting everywhere going down to ringside.
They just didn't like the crowd, Stevie. They were shitting, man. Come on.
Gosh, it was awful. That was.
I think the bear actually killed one of his partners in the shower.
Huh?
Yeah, there was a story going around. I think when I had the bears, the bear owner, it went into the room and it killed somebody in the room.
Are you serious?
Yeah. This is a shoot. If you look it up, like Big Josh Bear kills someone, or someone, there was a lady that died because the bear got her.
Well, she's in the wrong bathroom, I guess.
So yeah.
Wow, I never heard that.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I heard it on a podcast, or it could have been on the Dark Side of the Ring episode, because they actually did Doink the Clown this season.
Let's see. They're talking. They're showing pictures of it. Oh my gosh!
See,
they're showing pictures of the bear, and somebody put up there, "Who's the clown with the bears?" Ha ha ha. Okay, yeah.
yeah.
Clown. I don't see a story, but I'm gonna have to look that up though.
I'll have to send that to you, but yeah,
please do, so I can see it. But yeah, so yeah, number 5 for me is definitely New Age Outlaws. But
do you hear the song that they do now? If they ever come back to WWE, it says, "Oh, you didn't know? You better call somebody." It doesn't say
yeah,
us.
Don't say your ass.
Yeah.
Look, they left that off.
Godfather.
I may be wrong, but I swear I think when they did like the compilation CD, they left your ass off of that too.
Yeah, right. So even on The Godfather, when he came out a couple of years ago, he goes, it doesn't say Ho Train anymore. It just goes, it has his little baseline intro, and then it just goes.
Yeah, that'll wipe away all the history. Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
They were all Jerry the King Lawler's ex-girlfriends anyway.
Exactly.
Puppies.
Pinocchio's number 5.
Number 5. So now it starts to get into the pumped up theme songs where you hear it and you know this match is going to go off. I use this sometimes before I play football to get me pumped up.
It obviously works.
It works because I come running out of that shed with my arms in the air, and that's the Ultimate Warrior.
Nice.
Unstable.
Yeah. You hear that, and you just picture him running on the ropes and just going to the corner, raise his arms, and that's the fireworks, the big W in flames. So
I can honestly say I like the theme song better than the wrestler.
Yep.
What do you think about? Isn't dingo like a term that's used a lot over there where you're at?
Oh, it's a wild dog.
Dingo ate my baby.
That was what he was called in World Class, was a dingo
warrior. Yeah.
So he's a wild dog warrior. So,
I guess so.
Do you hear the story how he got his name though?
Yes. I was going to say. You listened to the same podcast I did, evidently.
I did, yeah.
They were talking about
share with the class, guys.
Go, Stevie. You said.
Which one was? Which agent was it? Was it?
Are you talking about the dingo or the Ultimate Warrior?
No, how he got his name.
Which one?
Jack Lance, the
Ultimate.
Okay.
They came up with it. They were running through it. They said we can't call him. Maybe we shouldn't call him a warrior because they got the Road Warriors. They got this warrior, and then he said, and then one of the agents back said, "Well, he could be the Ultimate Warrior." And Vince was like, "I love it."
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Bruce Pritchard.
Bruce Pritchard's one. Yeah, something to wrestle.
Yeah. You ever listen to that, Ward?
Yeah, I listen to it when he does the questions. I listen to him and Eric Bischoff when they answer questions.
Yeah.
When they do they talk about different cards. It's like the watch along for me. I can't really listen. I don't have my ADD kicks in, that where I can't listen to like a watch along, and I can't listen to when they talk about a certain card because it's like a pay-per-view or something. It just doesn't interest me.
The ones when the podcast host is away for a week and they do they throw in an old episode and they mix them in, and it's like 5 minutes of this bit and then they go to questions. They're the good ones.
I don't like Jim Ross's. I liked his when he did it by himself, but when Conrad joined him and they do all these episodes, I quit listening to it. I like Ross just sitting there talking about the news. I like that. But when he has Conrad on there, I mean, I like Conrad with Flair because he keeps Flair on track. But and also that guy that goes with Cornette, that's pretty good because Cornette goes off. But when they they start like reviewing a pay-per-view card, or even talking about a wrestler, it's just too much for my ADD. Don't worry about the rooster, man. Okay, it's cool.
Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ultimate Warriors were number 5.
That made my honorable mentions. I never liked the wrestler, but I like that song. Dun, 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 dun.
We got a comment from Joey Casada.
Oh, cool.
On his favorite. He loved when Hogan used Eye of the Tiger, and he said Macho was pretty great. So
yeah, right. Thank you, Joey.
Yeah, thanks, Joey.
So number 4 for you, Ward.
Number 4 for me, one of my favorites. It's the same guy that did the DX theme. Is this thing on? It was the Triple H and China theme, My Time. Not going to listen to anybody. Tell me who to be. That is one of my favorite Triple H. That is, it was a toss-up between this and the Motorhead version of the game. I love that. I like Motorhead. Yeah. So I like his version of Time to Play the Game. But, it's like, he says in the beginning, Mr. Dumb Shit. And, I remember seeing this and talking about, they even had like a interview with Triple H in China, how like it was my time. Triple H was getting pushed. And I just remember feeling so sorry for China because it's like when he met Stephanie, I mean, she was still at the top of her game and they got rid of her. I mean, I remember her, she was still like champion and they were just done with her because they didn't want the conflict. And it just shows you all the things with sports is like you bitch about this. Hey, that guy got paid too much money. No, you need to get paid all the money you can when you have that little short time of doing stuff, because when a company, the WWF, NFL, MLB, when they're done with you, they're done with you.
Yeah.
So you got to quote the great Paul Stanley. You got to get all you can take. I mean, you have to. So, but I remember just thinking, and I loved Triple H at the time because it was around the DX time he was doing this. And when, I remember I went to a Cowboys game. It's like mid-90s and stuff. And this is back then, Jack, you couldn't get like heel shirts. They didn't sell.
Yeah, right. Okay.
They didn't I wanted a Shawn Michaels shirt. They didn't sell heel. Now they do.
Yeah.
But I found a Triple H shirt when he was a heel. And I was like, how did you get that? They didn't have heels. And I think that when the NWO came out, they started selling them. But there was a time when you had to like look to find a heel shirt. You'd go to the matches, they didn't have them.
Yeah,
well,
right.
But Triple H, My Time, one of my favorite intros.
Back in the 80s, heels got paid a little extra because they didn't have merchandise. The babyface had merchandise. So
some heels had it. Savage had it with that Macho Man with the glasses, the purple shirt. Yeah. He had it. And it was like pick or choose. I mean, but the Freebirds had it. But like Stevie said, yeah, that's probably why they paid them a little bit extra.
Yeah, that went on a lot. But
that's another Jim Johnston. I guess that's him. He also sings the DX theme. You can tell it's the same guy.
Yeah,
I don't think that's Johnston singing it, is it?
No, not.
He wrote it. He did it. But the guy that does the DX theme, he's the one that does this one. My Time.
Yeah. That group played DX on live at one of the WrestleManias.
Yeah.
I forgot what the name of the group is, but they weren't that great live. I'll put it that way.
Stick to the tape.
Yeah, stick to the tape, definitely. Number 4 for me, we talked about this earlier. Like Warden said, anytime you go to a graduation, you're looking to drop an elbow on somebody just when you hear this music. But yeah, Randy Savage. I mean, as simple as it was, and I'm like, why is this guy coming? At first you're like, why is this guy coming out to graduation music? But then it became cool. I'm like you, Warden, when they did the whole WCW version of it. I was not a fan. The whole oh yeah, and then no, I'm not a fan. But yeah, it was just something about Macho Man, like you, Warden. He is definitely one of my favorite of all times. I mean, the guy could do everything.
Hell, you bought his sunglasses. Of course, he's one of your favorites.
I bought the shirt. It was a shirt and sunglass kit. I mean, and I actually have the bandana too. But that freaking thing's so hard.
I remember it. It's funny. I would buy like the leopard print shit, and it wasn't because of Kiss. I mean, that came in later when I got into Kiss, but it was because of Savage. Savage had the best outfits, man.
He made tassels fun.
Yeah.
Well, between him and what was it, the Rock and Roll Express had more freaking bandanas around.
Yeah.
I mean,
hey, don't forget Chachi, dude. He had the bandana around the leg.
Rock and Roll had bandanas on their knees, on their wrists, everywhere.
Yeah, and I remember I would wear bandanas all the time. I mean, yeah, I'd have them around my wrist, have them around my head. Yeah, I mean, oh yeah.
Yeah, but the bandana.
Not that Sean ripped it off or anything, but
And then the Ultimate Warrior had like tassels around its arms to make his arms bigger. You remember that?
Well, he did a lot of stuff to make his arms bigger.
Yeah, he did some stuff. He did some stuff to make his arms bigger. You're right. All right. So that's my number 4. Pinocchio, number 4.
Good. I was about to say, we've done really well so far with not many duplicates so far. A couple of Randys.
Yeah, I think.
Ric Flair.
And I think we're about to get another duplicate here, and it's because of you, Steve. You're calling me the hitman because of me playing football. And yeah. So my number 4 is you hear that guitar screech, and it's Bret Hart.
The same one I picked. The Heart Attack.
His last one in WWF.
I think that's the same one, Ward.
It's the same one, yeah.
I don't think that changed.
Because you just picture the camera going down the tunnel and
yeah. That's it. Yeah. That's the one that Shawn Michaels called out, and it was playing it, and nobody came out.
in
Montreal. They did it a couple of times. One with the midget, and one with something else that were just playing. Like, oh, I guess he's not going to show up.
Yeah, because they did that in his hometown. So yeah. But that's one of my favorite ones.
That's why I love Shawn Michaels. He's not afraid to do that,
But no one else could. I don't think if X wrestler came out and said, Vince, can I do this? Vince would go, no, you're not doing it. Shawn only.
Well, I think that's why Vince had such an affinity for Shawn, is because Shawn stood by him. He didn't go to NWO. He stayed with them. He did the job that had to be done because Bret was being a prick.
Yeah,
you guys remember, and I remember this back in the, because this was back when the internet first started. Really, everybody was getting the internet, and all the dirt sheets pretty much went online. Some of them went online, but the fight that happened backstage between Bret and Shawn, right during the whole Monday Night War deal, and Bret ripped a piece of Shawn's hair out, and all the rumors started that Shawn told Vince he was through. He was going to WCW. Can you imagine, instead of, let's put it to you this way. Let's say instead of Bret going to WCW, how do you think it ends up with Shawn if Shawn leaves there and goes to WCW instead of Bret?
They would have found a way to screw it up. They screwed up the Bret thing. I mean, I think it would have screwed up.
Here's the way I would have loved to see this go down. And I've thought about this several times. If let's say Shawn goes to WCW. So they have a pay-per-view, 6-man match, Nash, Hall, and Hogan against whoever. The NWO loses. And all of a sudden you see Nash and Hall fussing a little bit with Hogan. Out of nowhere, here comes Shawn, super kicks Hogan. Hogan's out of the NWO. The Click is now the NWO. So, I mean,
I think it would have went better with Shawn there than with Bret.
They didn't know. They had no idea what to do with Bret WCW.
No, even Eric said that. Eric says it.
You know, they had no clue what to do with him as far as a program or anything with him. They really screwed that up. But I think it's easier to do a storyline with Sean if he goes to WCW. You know, you could always put him with. I never bought the whole thing with him with Brett teaming with like Nash in NWO. I never bought that just because of the history with Sean. I mean,
especially not willing to drop the title to him if that's what you say earlier.
I never bought that. So, but with Sean, you buy that. I mean, definitely.
Brett's a great wrestler, but to me, I think that's why Sean's just a bit above Brett. My opinion.
Yeah,
because
you won't get
even though he didn't want to do it, he was pissed off having to lose to Austin, but he did it.
Oh yeah,
yes.
You remember? I don't know if you guys remember after he lost to Austin at WrestleMania, and he pretty much knew he wasn't going to be wrestling for a long time, but he was still in that press conference and talking trash because he lost the belt. But you know, he was just a competitor, dude. That's all it was.
He's a competitor. He's a competitor and he's a professional.
Yeah.
He's like Backlund. He's like, you know, somebody that I mean, you sit there and you have a thing to where you're the head of the company and you tell the wrestler, hey, this is going to happen. You don't want somebody coming back to you saying, oh, I'm not going to do that. No, you don't fucking need that headache.
No. I mean, and you know, at the time when you think about the screw job with Vince, you were like, okay, who do you say? But I mean, if you're going to leave, you think about it.
If you're not going to keep the title, Medusa.
No. If Stampede Wrestling with Stu Hart, the champion of Stampede Wrestling, they were still around, and the champion was getting ready to leave, do you think Stu would allow that to happen? Heck no. He would have done something.
Vince had to do what was best for his business, and that was WWE.
I'm sure we'll make an episode of this one day.
Oh yeah, but Brett.
I would have said if Brett came out the next night on Raw as champion, hand it over and go, look, I am the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. Hands it to Vince and goes, see ya, I'm going. No one could beat me.
No.
Yeah, but that wasn't
that's how I would have wanted to go out.
Vince wasn't going to take that chance. He didn't trust Brett. Exactly. I don't blame him. Yeah, I agree. That would have been great, but that's not in Bret Hart's makeup.
No.
But, you know, back then, like, that was 97. I was 8. He got that 20-year contract.
Goddamn, I was already 25.
I think it was worth $250,000 a year. Now, I don't know if that was a lot for wrestling at the time. You look back at it now.
That was astronomical.
I mean,
and didn't he have like that lifetime contract they gave him?
Yeah. It was going to turn into one after it. But, you know, you blink, it's almost 30 years ago now when that happened.
If you can't trust your champion to give up the title, then you need to cut his ass loose. And Vince made the right decision.
I think so. I think it was.
It's just like Jim says, you know, your coach calls the play. You don't want to do it. You're gone. I'm the coach. I'm calling the play. It might be the bad play. It might not win the Super Bowl, but I'm calling it.
I agree.
Eagles throwing the ball instead of running it in. Just saying.
All right.
What was that last part?
When the Eagles, Seattle Seahawks, ran through the ball in the Super Bowl, but they should have ran it against the Patriots. He called it. It is what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's Pete Carroll. He deserved to lose.
Yep.
Number 3 for you, Ward.
Number 3 for me. I heard you fuckers talking about this the other while ago.
Oh, wow.
I don't like that song, and that's why I kept quiet. You guys are nuts. Voodoo Child by the great Jimi Hendrix with Hulk Hogan is one of the best intros of all time. It blows away Real American. It blows away Eye of the Tiger. Jimi Hendrix, still dead for 30 years, still kicking ass. You know, when he comes out with that, I mean, dude, come on. That is one of the greatest intro. I stand next to a mountain, swipe with the back of my hand, dude. Jimi Hendrix, Hulk Hogan, the time when I could finally cheer for Hulk Hogan. I didn't like the Real American, the saying the prayers. I want him to lose all the time. I loved Hollywood Hogan. I was an NWO disciple. To me, this was the best NWO intro, Hogan intro ever. Voodoo Child. But then again, Jimi Hendrix is one of my favorites of all time, so sue me. Voodoo Child, Jimi Hendrix, NWO.
It was coming. It was coming.
Yeah.
You guys are nuts.
You just figuring that out, dude?
Yeah.
But all right. So I guess I'm next. Number 3. And this is where we're gonna get in. It's something to do with him. It's gonna happen in the top 3 twice. But Shawn Michaels, Sexy Boy. And not the version with Sherry singing. I don't know if you got that. You remember that one? That one was, yeah. But yeah, the one with him doing it, I mean, that's pretty great. I mean, an iconic, whenever that hits, everybody goes crazy. But I just remember when he first did that song, and it's the Sherry version. I forgot what pay-per-view it was. You hear Bobby Heenan whistling the theme to Sexy Boy, and I'm like, oh my God. He's like, and I think Gorilla Monsoon or somebody, what are you doing? He said, it's a catchy tune. It's a catchy tune.
Have you guys ever heard the Vince McMahon version?
No.
There's a version on some compilation that's got McMahon singing it.
Oh, wow.
It's not a great version.
I can imagine not.
I remember Shawn Michaels when, of course, growing up in San Antonio, his home where he started at and stuff. There was a radio station one time, 99.5 KISS. It was a rock station at the time. And he came by and he was interviewing. He was always in character and stuff. And they were on there, and it was like, I remember I was at, I don't know, it was some wrestling thing here. And I remember they had Howard Finkel come up there. Ladies and gentlemen, I've just been informed Shawn Michaels has left the building.
Yeah. The SummerSlam match when they were in the year they were in England, and him and Rick Martel.
I think it was 92.
Yeah, Wembley.
Is that when Brett? Is that when Davey Boy beat Brett?
Yeah. But him and Rick Martel fought, and Sherry was kind of pining for both of them. But the agreement was neither one of them could hit each other in the face. And I think it ended up going on to crap at the end. But I think that was the one Heenan did the whole whistling at too. That was also the debut of Rocco, the Road Warriors ventriloquist doll manager. You remember that?
No, I remember Sonny.
Rocco looking like I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, go back and watch.
The puppet on the bike.
Is that the one where they came out on the motorcycles, right?
Yeah. And that was horrible. I mean, you go from being these badass. What'd you say, Pinocchio? You went mute for a second.
Happening. Who was commentating SummerSlam that night? Was it Bobby?
I think Bobby was there, but I mean,
he goes, "Oh look, there's Rocco. He's leading the pack on the bike."
He was like, he said something like he's the smartest member of the group.
That's it.
Yeah, but yeah, and I mean,
they still have Paul Ellering then, or what?
Paul Ellering was the one with him, and Paul
Ellering
was doing the voice. There was one time at ringside, you hear Paul Ellering doing through Rocco, L-O-D, L-O-D. I'm like, oh my God, you've gone from being these badass guys to having a freaking ventriloquist doll leading you out to the ring. I mean, come on, dude.
That was when both Paul, Hawk, and Animal were on the bikes.
How? And they didn't drive it; they rode in on it. I mean, they did that.
It's kind of like the '80s when everybody went glam, even Ozzy and Priest. I mean, it just happened. Yeah, yeah, Motley especially. Yeah. But Motley had that with even kind of Shout the Devil.
That That was dark, dude.
No, it was glam. Shout the Devil was glam.
Total 360 with Theater of Pain, because
but Ozzy and Priest is a little bit more. Even Maiden kind of went glam with
leather. I mean,
but they were still wearing
purple polka dot shorts and lace. I mean,
but you could see Motley going in that direction. You couldn't see Ozzy and Priest going in that direction. Just saying.
You see Motley going in for Shout at the Devil
because they were look at Vince. I mean, God, he looked like freaking
bastard. Looks that kill.
I'm not talking about the music. I'm talking about the look.
That's what I'm saying. They were black.
Yeah, but you can see Motley going in that direction. And I actually too agree with our buddy Tom. Theater of Pain is a badass album.
I do like Theater of Pain. I remember buying that on cassette. That was awesome. But okay. So that was my number 3. So Pinocchio, you're number 3.
My number 3. I'm surprised this hasn't come up yet. It almost did when you said Razor, and I thought you were going to go that way, Jace. But my number 3, and I think it's the most iconic theme that I like in WCW at the time, because I was growing up with it, and that's the NWO theme. Yeah.
NWO.
I'm surprised it took this long to come up, unless you guys have it. I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah. I think for me, between that and Sting, they're probably my 2 favorite WCW themes. I wasn't a fan of the Wolfpack one. It was too LA.
You didn't like the Wolf? Oh,
I like the Wolf part, but it became really like LA.
I didn't like
hip hop.
Once it got past the Wolf, once it got past the Wolf, it was crap to me. I mean, you get
because I like the Titantron too, when you see Razor going ooh. And the flashes and the army marching, the faded film burning.
The following message is brought to you by the NWO.
Yeah, now those are great. I love all those commercials that they did. The big announcement, you guys want to hear it? The Tony Khan's big announcement. You want to hear who it is?
Vince McMahon has joined AEW.
It was me.
You want to
what is it?
Take a guess. They're talking about the big free agent. You want to take a guess who it is?
Dolph Ziggler.
Okay. You take my guess. I'm gonna say, oh geez, who could it be?
Not Dolph.
Goldberg.
No.
Will Ospreay.
Who?
Oh, I heard that, but
he's pretty good. He's over in Japan a lot.
Yeah. He's been chased by WWE for a while.
Yeah, I would rather have Dolph Ziggler. I would be better.
I'll tell you this. It's just like Pinocchio said, WWE has wanted him for a long time. And this could be, I'm not going to say this is, but the fact that Tony Khan got a guy that's not a WWE reject or whatever you want to call it, that WWE wanted it. That's pretty big.
That's a big thing, because that's what AEW is lacking. Homegrown wrestlers.
Exactly.
I think you're going to see a lot more of that, with maybe people more going to AEW because Vince isn't involved. If Vince would have been involved, maybe he would have went to WWE. But now, Triple H has probably got to go through a board of directors to get somebody to go. Tony Khan doesn't.
I think here lately, especially, if it had been Vince had been there, guys would have stayed away from it because of the way he was acting lately.
True.
Because I think with AEW, a wrestler can go to Tony Khan and say, "Can I put a chair shot here?" Just say. Tony Khan will go, "Okay, just do it. If you want to do it, if it work, go." You go to WWE, you have to do what they say to a point, but it's more like, we're not doing that garbage stuff with the chair. You don't need it. Do it this way. I don't want to. It's not going to work. AEW, a little bit more sway, but it's a smart move.
Never heard of the guy, so good luck to him.
Yeah, I think he's okay. I think if you watch him, he's pretty talented. But
he made one mistake though.
What's that?
The so-called sellout crowd. at All in London.
Oh yeah.
He got the tattoo of the number of tickets sold. It was like 81,000.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It came back to be about 74 to
Yeah.
75,000 tickets sold instead.
Yeah.
It wasn't a
So-
mistake though if he was told that though. So it just
But yeah, other than that, he
He's okay.
great Japanese wrestler in Japan. He's a good wrestler. I don't mind him. I can watch him. He can
Well,
talk.
good for them for not signing a WWE retired or about to retire guy.
I would love to see Dolph get a shot with AEW though. You go
Me
by
too.
that because I mean,
His brother's there. It makes sense.
yeah,
Who's his
exactly.
brother?
Nick Emmeth.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
So
Dolph's great, man. He's somebody they could. He's like another. He's another Arn Anderson. He's a guy that they could rely on for a long time, and they just when they're done with him, they just let him go.
Well, it's.
Let's see what's with Nikki Bella.
What you call, like you talk about being a professional. Dolph has always been a professional. To get put in the Spirit Squad and
Nikki Bella.
Yeah, he comes out of the Spirit Squad and he's probably the only one to really have any longevity in their wrestling career there. And then to, get so many pushes and then have it like taken away from him. I don't understand what went on there, if he had heat backstage or what, but that was insane to me because Dolph is just classic guy. Classic.
Did I ever tell you my story? I got to meet him. One time I was at a WWE.
Tell your story. I'll be back in 1 second.
Yeah.
You're going to hear my story and you got to leave? Oh, my God.
Back in 1 second. I have to back in 1 second.
All right. He must have rooster problems.
I guess so. I don't know, man. I was going to give my Doc Ziggler story and I don't get to tell it now, Stevie. I'm kind of hurt, man.
Oh, you get to tell it. Just
I want to tell it. Well, I'm going to leave too, man. So I'm going to go for a second too.
Oh, go take a pee break.
I got to go get me another beer. You want one, dude? Can I get you one?
Yeah, go ahead, give me one. I'll just sit here with my Randy Savage glasses on while y'all go.
I'm gonna run and get me a beer, dude. Since we're gonna be here,
we're live.
I'll be right back. We're live. Keep talking to the crowd, dude. Don't worry about it.
Talk to the crowd. I'll cut a promo on you guys while y'all are gone. These SOBs, they leave me hanging like this. God, I know they can't hear me right now. Pinocchio may can. I'll take the hitman down. I promise you. What is that noise? Oh, there he is.
I had a shock master at my door. Someone knocked on my door.
The shock master at your door. He blew through.
Yeah.
He is none
Wrong
other.
house. Sorry, buddy. It was an Uber Eats too. Yeah. I was like, no, I didn't want to take it. I was like, no, it's the next house next door.
I'm back. What's that Eric Bischoff song?
All right, Bischoff. All right, tell your Dolph Ziggler story. So you want?
I was kind of butthurt there a little bit for when you left.
I said to Stevie, I had Uber Eats at my door, and it's the wrong house. I said the shock master came to my door.
Yeah, shock master. I thought you had to go pet your cock.
He fell on his ass. Speaking
about Eric Bischoff, real quick. Apparently, his theme song was actually Back in Black, but on TV it was I'm back better than ever.
Yeah, I'm back better than ever.
All right, story time with Jason.
Okay, I got to meet Doc Ziggler. Well, didn't really meet him, but it was around the time he was doing the Hugh Jackman thing. Remember when Hugh Jackman hit him?
Yeah.
I went down to a steak place, and I guess WWE was in town, and I probably was kind of watched here and there. But he was, we were in the bathroom, and he was waiting to go in the bathroom. I go, man, hey, brother, how's your jaw doing? He goes, yeah, man, it's still kind of sore. I didn't ask him for autograph or nothing like that, but it seemed like a cool dude, man. Hey, your rooster's crowing too, man.
I got a rooster. I got a bigger rooster. See? Hush.
Uber Eats at your door too, Stevie?
All kinds of animals in here.
We're live, dude. We're live, so hey.
Stop.
Really obedient dog you got there, Stevie.
she's an older dog. She's stepping away. But all right,
She's a woman. You can't tell her any different, right?
Who are we on now?
Me.
We're up to number 2 for Jason.
Who was your number 3, Jason?
What was my number 3?
You did Hulk Hogan,
Voodoo Child.
Yeah. All right, number 2 for you.
Number 2 for me is going to be on my list because it's my all-time favorite wrestler. It was a really kick to see it not this WrestleMania, but the year before, when he went head-to-head with Kevin Owens. He is my all-time favorite wrestler. When that glass breaks, still some of the biggest pops ever. You see that on TikTok or YouTube. But the glass break-in, not the Disturbed version, which was horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, another Jim Johnston theme. But when that thing breaks and he comes out, even to this day, just still one of the biggest pops. And like I said, we did our list. He ended up being my favorite wrestler of all time.
Yep.
But Stone Cold Steve Austin, I drink a beer in his honor right now.
The way he walks out to his theme is the best. He's not running, he's not power walking, he's just coming with an attitude, and it just works. Yeah,
Austin, it was weird. With him, it's like I remember him when he wrestled with Chris Adams, which was, one of my favorite wrestlers growing up with the Von Erichs. He joined that wrestling school down here in World Class. He started out in Texas. He doesn't do podcasts anymore, his own podcast. He's on WWE.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a great podcast on his own, but he had it for a few years. I miss that, but every time I hear him, I watch him because, like I said, he's like my favorite wrestler of all time. And it's just, his documentary was not his last one. He's got a thing to where he doesn't live here anymore, but he had the George Strait song, I'll Be Somewhere Down in Texas, played because he retired and went down there, down here. But he lives in California now, in Arizona. He sold his place down here. But when that song hits, even when he comes out nowadays, the crowd goes freaking nuts, man. And he hasn't really wrestled in like 25 years. I mean, besides the one-off, and I thank God it's a one-off. I think it was great. I think Kevin Owens did it.
Yes.
And that there wasn't a better place to have it than the Cowboy Stadium. But just that pop that came out, and it gave me chill bumps last year. And it's just awesome.
That, as far as you talking about a one-off with Austin, I think that would be best for him too, because they talk like his neck is just like chiclet. Yeah. It could fall apart at any second. You don't want to take a chance of that. I mean, he would be limited to what he could do.
But I think Owens was the perfect opponent.
Oh yeah,
Owens was a fan. He knew what to do.
Yeah,
and he's professional. He knows he's going to protect somebody. He's going to be safe. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's going to be one of those songs like the Flair. Whenever you hear it with Savage, whenever you hear the glass break, you know exactly what's coming.
Yeah,
and just the like when the glass breaks. And it's like Jack said of him walking out, but just when they show his look at his face and stuff.
Yeah.
He's another guy that he used to live up here in a little town called Bernie, I think where Goldberg lives now. I had this kid, he was a special needs kid, and he kept telling me, "Hey, Jace, I saw Steve Austin at the gym." I was like, "Oh, really?" Said he was really cool and shit. I remember one time I was like doing some cardio because I'm a badass. And I walked out and I saw him like midday, and he was like lifting weights, and he like looked up at me. He has that intense look, and then I saw him walking around. He's got that little Texas. He's got like a Texas tattoo on his like his
calf
there. Yeah, and it was like, God, I wonder who he's talking to. I mean, it was just. I mean, it just. I didn't go. I don't really. I'm not a fanboy, but he's like, oh my God, but.
Oh,
it was cool. It was cool to see him, and just his intensity, and stuff like that. And just that look, like when he's walking out, some asses are going to get kicked.
Oh, yeah.
Some beer is going to get drunk.
Mud hole in somebody's ass. Yes. But anyway, Steve Austin's our number 2. All right. My number 2 We talked a little bit about it earlier, but I don't think it's been on anybody's list yet. Like you, Warden, I became a fan of this group when I heard it. Is Iron Man, the Road Warriors theme. I mean,
that was on mine.
It was earlier. That's right. It was
Freebirds and Iron Man.
Yeah,
thanks to Michael Hayes. Yeah,
but yeah, one of the iconic moments for me that I remember most about this. I don't know if you guys, if they even play it when they show it now on the network. But when they were getting ready for Starrcade '86, the Night of the Skywalkers,
your boy Jim Cornette
showing Animal and Hulk and Paul Ellern out at a work site, talking about they were climbing scaffolds and doing all this stuff, and they took pumpkins and put
I remember that,
Uncle Bobby and Loverboy Dennis on it, and then when they showed them throwing the pumpkins off of it, but they never showed a hit until at the end they showed the pumpkins falling in slow motion, and you hear the Iron Man start playing again, and the Road Warriors talking behind it. I was like, oh my God, this is great stuff right here. But yeah, and you know when you hear, I remember as a kid, you know, you wrestle your friends and all this stuff, and all these guys, like you start going, doom, 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 and we had one kid like, oh God, please don't, because we would jumping whenever we would do that, and he was like, please don't, not today. I don't want to do this today. But yeah, I bought Black Sabbath Paranoid just because of Iron Man. I asked for it for Christmas on cassette, and my mom was like, why are you listening to Black Sabbath? She said, I don't mind the Kiss stuff. I support the Kiss stuff, but why Black Sabbath? I said, it's a cool song.
He's as bad as that Rod Stewart shit.
Yeah. Who do you think I'm sexy?
Hearing Iron Man, I will say this. That is the first and only song I ever learned on guitar.
I could play it on keyboard. I learned how to play it by ear on keyboard, which was it was pretty cool.
I remember when that would come out, and I think it was on when they were in the NWA already. It was WW, or it was Saturday Night Wrestling, and they would play the song. The song didn't get to the guitar, and they were already destroying.
They were already killing. They were already throwing the guys out of the ring. I mean, that was. I wonder how they decided. I always wondered how they decided when they were going to do that, because it wasn't every time, but they would come out there and start running. They take if they had like their coat and everything, they take that off while they were running out of the ring and then jump the guys. Poor Randy and Bill Mulkey caught the hell from them every time they got in the ring.
Some and especially JJ Dillon, wasn't he in the War Games thing when they duplexed him off there, and Cornette, of course. Yeah.
Well, Cornette did it to himself. Bubba did it. Bubba didn't catch Cornette. He was supposed to catch him. And then you hear Cornette, oh, my knees, Bubba.
That would have been when Jim Cornette was big.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the scaffold match, the Night of the Skywalker, I remember, because you couldn't get pay-per-view right here then. I remember
you had to go to a movie theater. Remember that? They had movie theaters.
I gotta know who won this because it was Thanksgiving night, and that was back when
they wouldn't have it. They wouldn't have it on the sports updates. Like,
you had to wait until the next week and see and then they did those little highlight package videos where you had to guess who won.
They show more then than they do now.
Oh yeah,
like even with the WWE Network, they don't show as much shit. It's like, you're cheap, you can't afford the Peacock. But, back then, we had to wait a week. It sucked.
I remember I thought it was so cool. Chi-Town Rumble. I don't know if you guys remember that when Steamboat beat Flair for the belt. That was on like a weeknight, like a Monday or Tuesday. I think it was a Monday night. And a friend, one of my best friends in school, his dad, he calls me and he's like, look, my dad knows this guy that's got a satellite, and he got it free, and he recorded it. You need to come to the house tonight, and we'll watch the pay-per-view. So we went over there and watched the Chi-Town Rumble. I thought that was so cool. I was like, I'm getting to see this before.
Was it Chi-Town Rumble or Chi-Town Heat?
Chi-Town Rumble. Yeah, it was Starrcade '87 was Chi-Town Heat.
Okay.
This was
that's when Dusty beat Luger for the USA title, and that's when your boy Arn started turning on Luger. Yeah, that's right.
That was when Flair beat Garvin again for the belt. He got his belt back from Garvin. So number 2 for you, Pinocchio.
I remember that when it was on WCW Saturday night, and I think it was going on, and it showed Garvin beating Flair. Oh my God, we got to go next week. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what?
We gotta go.
That was what you always knew when they announced at the start of a show, we're gonna have so and so and so. Like if they said Arn and Tully was the Rock and Roll Express, it was gonna run out of time. If you didn't get it before the half hour, then you were gonna run out of time.
Speaking of your boy Jim Ross, back in Mid-South, oh my God, we gotta go. No!
We'll keep the tape machines rolling while we go to this commercial. I was like, y'all are gonna have a freaking pinfall while you went to commercial. It's recorded.
But look at what you had to do. Like somebody had to get a message to like Ronnie Garvin and Ric Flair. Hey, we're about to go off the air. Go ahead and pin him. There had to be some kind of like thing.
Somebody ringside.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. This was before you had earpieces. The referees, of course, got earpieces now. But there was somebody ringside that was telling the referee, all right, you need to tell them to bring it home.
And they did it. I mean, that thing, Garvin rolled him up, pinned him. We're out of time. Bye. Like, what the? And I remember like there were some neighbors of mine that were like older. It's like, oh my God, Ric Flair just lost the title. I'm like, who the fuck?
That show where I saw it at was the entire hour show because it was like worldwide wrestling, I think. That show took the whole hour, and they actually showed the pinfall, and then they showed all the people coming to the ring to celebrate with Garvin, and then it went off. So, all right.
You see, Pinocchio, you see the hardship that me and Stevie had to go through?
Yeah.
That's why we have so many gray hairs. Wrestling.
Yep. That's it.
All right. Number 2 for you, Pinocchio.
My number 2. So this was a tie between my number 1 and number 2. I could have flipped it both ways.
Oh my God, how dare you have a tie?
I know. So it was hard, but my number 1 just got it. But I could have went, if you asked me tomorrow, I could have flipped it again. But my number 2, and we'll keep it short and sweet, Stone Cold. Yeah. Stone Cold, but like I said, you hear that glass break, you just know.
Yeah.
So
I mean, what can you say about it? I remember the one they had where they had the "You are completely pathetic." They used to have that one too, where like his music. But the original one that he's known for that he still uses today, that's the one I like.
Yeah. I think it was a Royal Rumble, like they had the hexagon entrance with the 316, and you hear the glass smash, the whole thing, and he just walks out. He said he had to step over the glass. He's just stomping out. But apparently the story is when he got kicked out of WCW, went to ECW, he said he used to break glass just to get his way, and that's when he got it. People just heard he was breaking stuff.
He warmed up for that when he was on. He didn't wrestle in ECW, but when he got fired, I think Paul Heyman gave him because he worked with Paul Heyman before in WCW.
Yeah.
But he developed that whole kind of, I mean, he went from Stunning Steve to like, and then when he does that thing on Jake the Snake at, King of the Ring.
Yeah.
I mean, who knew? I mean, it's just, can you imagine that happens today? If he would have went off on a Christian like that, I mean, people would have lost their shit. But I mean, it was the 90s. It was the Attitude Era. I mean, many of the Attitude Era, but I mean, that was ad lib. And then thank God for Michael Hayes telling him about it because it brought about in Stone Cold.
But you couldn't say, you thump your Bible, you say your prayers, and it gets you nowhere.
Of course, I say that all the time, and Stevie knows. So,
and him telling the crowd to piss off.
Yeah.
Because apparently, I think he actually heard Vince saying to hurry up, and he's like, piss off. That's the rumor, and Michael Hayes with the microphone, like, Steve, we've got to go. He's like, piss off. But yeah, I think between that one and my number 1, it's the most iconic theme.
I know what your number 1 is already. I can tell.
It's not Disco Inferno. Here's my honorable mention.
Disco Fever.
Do you know what he does now for a living?
Porn?
What?
Close. He works in a strip club. He works in a gentleman's club.
Oh my God.
What is it? Was it a DJ or a bouncer? He's kind of old, isn't he?
I think he's a doorman. Like, I think he
Nice.
owns it. So he's still living in that party life.
He does a podcast too.
He's got the night fever, man. Let him live it.
Yeah, evidently. All right.
Number one's now.
Number one for you, Warden.
Number one was mentioned before by the great Stevie. Probably my second favorite wrestler of all time. Watched him growing up here in Southwest Championship Wrestling. Watched him go to the AWA. To me, his heel turn is up there with Hogan's heel turn. Probably my favorite wrestler of the 90s up till when Stone Cold took over, and that's the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. I love that song. I think I'm cute. I know I'm sexy. I mean, that is just iconic. It's got that kind of earworm to it. I just, like as Steve mentioned before, it's a catchy ass song. It's just that's a believable song. Like when you hear Stone Cold's theme, you know that's Stone Cold. When you hear this song, you know that's what Shawn Michaels thought. Yeah, he was living the gig. Yeah. But Sexy Boy by Shawn Michaels, another, they got Jimmy Hart helped with that one, and just another great iconic theme song.
You can look on YouTube. There's an instrumental version of it, like just no words. It's actually a really great song too.
Yeah. I like the solo because the solo kind of reminds me of something CeCe DeVille would do, just kind of short and sweet.
Yep. Not a good one.
CeCe DeVille in the conversation. This one's pretty cool.
But it's got that. I know.
Brett's gonna sue us now.
Do what?
Brett Michaels is gonna sue us. We mentioned Poison. He'll do something. Brett Michaels.
Oh, Poison's cool. I like Poison.
He's all right. They're all right.
Yeah, I like Poison though.
Mr. Rocket.
Oh God! Don't do that. That is
that's not a bad version of that song. It's not a bad version at all.
It's not a good one though.
It's a fun version of that song.
It's definitely different, but it's not a good one.
It's not a bad one either.
No,
it's not as bad as Motley Crue doing Like a Virgin, but
or Anarchy in the UK. That's horrible.
Or Jailhouse Rock.
That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that song. All in the Name Of, that's a little.
You're gonna be dancing on glass for long.
That's a good song, dude.
Oh, you're just a bunch of
5 years dead.
You're just a bunch of helter skelters.
Hey man, keep your eye on the money.
No, I'm gonna stop.
We're gonna throw every theater.
I'm gonna stop because you guys are too fast for love.
I feel like I've got the City Boy Blues or something.
The triple threat, Motley Crue.
Stevie, you're up. Knock 'em dead, kid.
You know, I've got with these glasses on. I feel like I got.
It's just the same old situation. Come on.
I can't say that.
Nah, let's go.
All right, let's get out of here. So my number one, and I think Jack said it earlier. This is a repeat of here. The doom doom. When I first heard that song the first time, and you see the video come on with the people jumping at the fence.
You're not talking about the people. You're talking about the girl. That's what I remember.
Barcodes and all that stuff. It fit that group. I mean, there was, and there's been a couple of different versions. The Run DMC King of Rock version. I don't know if you guys ever heard that one. That was pretty cool. But the original is always going to be the best. I mean, but you knew, like you said, you knew something was getting ready to happen. And probably my favorite. Everybody likes the of course, Shawn and Chyna and Triple H and Rude for a little while. I did like the badass Billy Gunn and that version, especially when they did the whole parody of the Nation of Domination. That was pretty cool. Brother said he'd cook it. Brother said he'd cook it. Road Dogg did D-Lo so good in that one. And then how about X-Pac as Mark Henry. Mizark.
Talk
Could he
about not
get
being
by
able to
with
do
that
the
now?
name.
Oh,
No. With blackface? No. He could not get by with that.
Triple H doing the Rock too. I mean,
the big eyebrow.
You smell what the rock was bacon.
that guy, that one comedian that did I'm not a nugget. That comedian that did Owen, that was great.
I can't. Jeez, what was it? Because he could do so many of them. He did a lot of them, but the time he came out there when Owen was in the ring talking trash, telling somebody to come from backstage and take him on, and then he comes out with wearing the freaking road sign on his chest. But yeah,
that's when I didn't really like Owen. He did his job of being a heel. Is when he started started messing with that guy. And I was like, okay, I usually like heels, and I know it was part of the gig, but it was like, wow, Owen's really pushing the envelope on that one.
I'll tell you this. I never understood why they went from Owen. Owen did the whole the whole screw job happened. Owen went to it being the Blackheart.
Yeah.
And I mean, and it was starting to catch on. But then all of a sudden they drop it and he's in the Nation of Domination. I mean,
I think it's ADD with Vince because it's like the thing with putting the title on, giving it to Diesel, and he didn't last very long either. I mean, it's just you got to give it a chance to gel.
It just didn't fit to me with the Nation. But probably my favorite time with DX was when they got back together, him and Shawn, and the feud with the Spirit Squad, and then with the McMahons. That whole DVD that came out about DX going through the whole thing every week. It was kind of like you watched it before for Stone Cold. You were watching to see how much crap Stone Cold was going to talk, what he was going to do to McMahon that week. Same thing with DX at that time, because you remember the whole when they had Vince in the ring and they were in the control truck and they were slowing down his voice and putting up there the I Love Cock sign beside him.
Speaking of that, Jack, did you kill your rooster? I haven't heard from you lately. I mean, what's going on?
No, it's lunchtime. We're going to feed him soon. He's very just waiting.
Yeah, he's going to be
kind of quieted down there, man. I mean,
yeah, he goes through little spurts.
When you left there for a while, I haven't heard from you since. Like, oh my god,
that was lunch. The rooster was lunch.
Yeah.
No roosters were harmed in this episode, by the way.
Exactly.
Probably Humane Society on Pinocchio. The hitman will take you out. So yeah, my number one is DX. So
cool.
Number one.
I know what Jax is.
This one.
So yeah, like I said, this could have been my number one or number two, but it just beat out. It's probably like the most iconic theme song.
I know it.
Sorry?
I know what your theme song is. I know what it is.
It's getting there. He had several different theme songs, but this is his best one. Like Stone Cold, you hear that first sound and you know what it is. It's the gong. It's the Undertaker.
Oh, yeah.
I think between him and Stone Cold, it's the most iconic theme. Because you just know.
What, not a big fan of the American Badass song by Kid Rock?
I didn't mind his Big Evil.
Rolling.
Oh, that was Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, but his Big Evil one, like, it wasn't too bad, but
I liked him as the American Badass because it was different. And he went back to it. I get the whole iconic. I'll tell you, I was at that 1994 Survivor Series, and when he came out fighting Yokozuna, I mean, it had like the rain and all that stuff going on. I mean, that was one of the best entrants. That was almost like a Kiss concert to me.
Yeah.
That was just, I mean, I was never a big Undertaker fan. I like him now because he's from Austin. He's a big Longhorn and a Cowboy fan. Poor guy. And, but yeah, I'm more of a, like, kind of like with Sting, I'm more of a fan of the man than I am the gimmick.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm with you on that. It didn't make my list, but Undertaker, definitely one of the best.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to our honorable mentions.
This will take another 30 minutes.
Yeah, we'll be a 3-hour show.
I got a lot, but I'll just do 3.
Why are you doing 3? I'm doing more than 3. Do them.
I can do 6.
No, do them all. I'm going to do mine.
All right, did we just run through mine? I'll just run through them.
Go ahead.
All right, so no, this is in no order.
Okay.
Dusty Rhodes.
Which one?
American Dream. He's just a common man. Rick Rude, he was brought up. Rick Rude.
Which one?
There's a couple, but which one did I like the best? Which one?
Tiger one in WCW.
No. Oh no, I think it was. Yeah. Ted DiBiase, that laugh. Yeah. Now another WCW one. I was a fan of his. DDP, he self high five.
Yeah.
You mean
Pearl Jam?
Smells like Teenage Spirit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Self high five.
Kane, his first theme. That was scary, man. As a kid, that was freaky. And my last one is the Four Horsemen with the running horses.
Good one.
So that's my no water, but yeah, there's mine.
All righty, mine. Voices by Randy Orton. Didn't you mention that one? Or it wasn't mentioned. Red Theory, I guess. Stars in the Night by Paige. It was a pretty cool one. I remember when Paul Stanley was there. I guess he took his kids because he was buddy with Jericho, was still in WWE. Paul was there. Paul Stanley was there stage, and he was kind of like jamming to that song when it's kind of a catchy, kind of a rock tune. Unstable by the Warrior. Bad to the Bone, George Thorogood, Gino Hernandez, and Chris Adams.
Oh wow.
Never really cared for the song too much, except when wrestling. Stranglehold, Kevin Von Erich.
Yep.
That was a pretty good one. I mentioned that one, The Game by Motorhead. Animal by Batista. That kind of that's a pretty good one. And War Machine, I mentioned that earlier but I didn't know that the Warrior or whatever his name was did it. I always heard it from
Warlord.
Heard it from Taz. That's what I remember it from.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Your 75 honorable mention, Stevie.
How about Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family?
With the Butterflies, that was a good one.
Yeah, that was a freaking.
That was a badass song. And you notice people, they don't use lighters anymore; they use cell phones.
Yeah. Actually, I don't have it. I mean, the Rock and Roll Express, when they did Rock and Roll King by Electric Light Orchestra.
ELO, yeah, good one.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I'm like you, Pinocchio, with the Four Horsemen with the horses.
Yep.
And stuff. But one that we haven't really talked about, Demolition. That one was pretty cool. I see you shaking your head, Warden. And I did have Bad Street up there with the Freebirds.
Bad Street.
But
I never liked Demolition. That's just me.
I'll tell you, I liked the Freebirds better.
That was Rick Derringer too, wasn't it? Demolition.
Yeah.
When
they came to the ring, like in their run in NWA in like '89, they would come to the ring to Freebird. I mean, they would play the night. Gosh, it was Clash of Champions. I think it was like the fourth one. They were playing. They were at Fort Bragg, and it was the NWA Tag Title Tournament, and they had, it was just Hayes and Gordy, and they kept talking about, we're going to have a new member. And then you hear Freebird playing, and you look, and it's Jimmy Garvin coming out to the ring with him. And they ended up beating Midnight Express that night for the tag titles, which I thought was a good match. And it set up a big feud during that summer. But yeah, let's see. Really, not a whole lot that we didn't talk about. New World Order, I had that. Daniel Bryan, which was pretty cool. That grew on me. The WWF theme song, he had like Flight of the Valkyries or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but Ricky Steamboat in WWF, which actually goes on to be the intro music for the Chicago Bulls when they had Michael Jordan.
Oh, sorry.
Really?
Serious by
Serious, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I didn't know that was Ricky Steamboat.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This one was kind of I put it down, but then I was like, I don't know. The Rockers, when they had their music, that was okay.
Yep.
But one song, one theme that none of us said, that I was kind of surprised. If you smell what the Rock is cooking, I'm surprised nobody had that on the list. But I didn't put it on mine. It was
he had a lot of themes. I just couldn't pick one for The Rock. He
if
had
I was gonna
Hollywood.
pick one, it would have been the original, the first one. Rock says, "Know your role."
Yeah.
Shut your mouth and all that stuff. But it would have been those are later versions.
I like his Hollywood one when he came back from Hollywood.
When he came back as a heel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that one was cool. But yeah, I like the original one. If I was gonna put one up there, it would have been the original.
Yep. This is a great list. There was barely any duplicates, and that was great.
Yeah, let's see. DX was on mine and yours.
Yeah.
Iron Man was on mine and Warden's. Shawn Michaels, mine and Warden's. Randy Savage, mine and Warden's. New Age Outlaws, nobody had but me. Midnight Express, Sing, Steiners. Flair, me and Warden. Edge, Metal English was mine. War Machine, Warlord. Let's see, between you and Warden.
I had Edge, but he wasn't the same with Rob Zombie.
Yeah. Stone Cold for you two. Bret Hart.
Yep.
I think that's it for y'all.
Yeah, we were close with Hogan. I had Real American, and Jason had Voodoo Child.
But anyway. All right. So you guys hear our list. If you're out there listening right now, give us your list. Give us your top 10 and tell us who you would have taken off our list.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, I can't imagine. We covered pretty much everybody up here. Like I said, except for The Rock was, I don't know.
I just feel today's theme musics are more just generic, making noise.
Say the same thing. They're more generic. It's not like you've got that definitive one like a Stone Cold or a Rock where when that music hits, everybody's like, here he comes. Or you see Vince McMahon, just like what was the WrestleMania? Austin Theory. We lost Warden. Whatever.
He'll be back.
He'll be back. He probably hit his button again. He does that from time to time. But the one with Pat McAfee and Austin Theory, and then Vince comes out to the ring, and here they play Austin Theory's music again, and he acts like it's Stone Cold.
Yeah, he missed his screw on that one.
Where you go? You hit your button again?
I hit the wrong button. Sorry.
I knew it. I told you did. But yeah.
Yeah, that was when they hit Theory's music, but it was meant to be Austin's theme.
And Vince went and then he went like, "Oh God, no, I can't do that." He was pissed with somebody, I'm sure.
But even Logan Paul, I don't even know what his theme is.
Couldn't tell you.
You know what I mean? But
yeah, I mean, there's no. Tell me one theme song for somebody that's really iconic right now in current
Seth Rollins.
It'll probably have to be Seth.
Yeah, that would be the closest one, I would think.
Roman Reigns is good, but it's as slow as his walk to the ring, and it's boring.
I think it's either Seth or Randy Orton, but Randy Orton's older. Even Dustin. I mean, I guess I'm just not a big fan of Dustin Rhodes or Cody Rhodes. You mean?
Cody Rhodes, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, people love it, but I mean, the fans love it because they cheer.
It's his AEW theme. That's the thing.
Is it? I didn't mention that. That wouldn't have happened 20 years ago.
No,
never. All right, so that's our top 10, guys. Any last words from you two?
I want to wish you both a happy Thanksgiving. Do they have Thanksgiving down in Australia?
No. So I have a few American friends, so I do know about it. So I do wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving this coming week. So
I wish it's a It's American holiday. I mean, it's it's something to be thankful for because we all know life's short.
Yep.
But I'm thankful to have you guys on my life. That I love doing this show, and even though you guys hate Voodoo Child, I mean, I still forgive you. But wish you both. I mean, I'm looking forward to doing this more. I love doing this.
Me too.
I love wrestling. I think this show helps me kind of keep up with the current wrestling, which is great. But of course, with me and Stevie, the old school is going to be the best. You kind of bring a little bit newer, generation, Jack, even with the music and with that. So I think that helps, us two old farts, being the oldest in the room. So, but I'm looking forward to this. I thank you for the theme, and
you're welcome.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Next weekend probably won't be, a week after that maybe, but
bi-weekly, once a month. I'm happy.
We gotta be careful because that one Saturday night you guys gonna get this pay-per-view? I am.
If I can get it, I'll definitely get it. I'm
you
sure
should be able to get it online. You should be able to get it online, right?
Online, yep.
Yeah. I got the app on my phone for Apple, but I have a Amazon Fire Stick. I don't know if they offer it on Amazon. So
yep.
No, it'll be on YouTube the next day anyway.
Oh,
so.
Yeah.
It'll be out. It'll be here before you know it, guys.
It's scary, like off wrestling talk. Like it's 2 weeks away. It's not the end of December. It's not middle. It's the first 2 days of December, and it's it.
That's it.
It is sad. I mean, I was 6, going on 7 when I did the reunion tour, so I kind of knew a little bit, not too much. But you hear this now, and they're going, you know what, this is it. It's like, it is what it is.
It's weird for me because to me, Kiss died in '96 when they got back together.
Yep.
Did I go to the shows afterwards? Yeah, but they're like more of a nostalgia act. And being a Stones fan, I've accepted that. But did I like the '80s and the 90s stuff? Yeah, but to me, it'll be over. But according to Gene, looks like we're going to get a lot of box sets and stuff like that. I'm looking forward to that.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
that's my only wish there. If they're going to go away, that start putting that visual stuff and that out. Start putting the box set. Start putting the videos out.
Still do something.
Well, honestly, if Gene tours, I'll go see him. I want to see. I mean, I won't see Soul Station. That's not my thing.
Green, a pussycat almost. Ah.
His brother was an only child.
Yep.
I from what I've heard from Gene's box set, meet and greets, his Vegas stuff, I'd love to go to one of those. It actually sounds fun.
Yeah. It sounds like he really takes an interest in everybody that does that. He ought, as much money as they spend, he ought to take a great interest in them. But
it'll be interesting to see what the Shout Out Loud announcement is. It's Monday, so that's before Dorm Damage, and that's before the episode. So,
do you know what time?
I'm kind of curious.
They didn't say, because it'll be my Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
So I'll like to just give
I'll
it
tell
heads
you
up.
right now, just a second.
So we won't spoil it, but we all have our idea what the surprise may be. I don't want to give mine out just yet, but
I think it's going to be one of them's leaving. That's my prediction. So
wow. Announcement. Let's see. What's 8:00 Eastern time? So it'll be
midday.
Yeah.
My midday.
So 7 p.m. my time.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? Are you guys going to give your prediction, or we're not going to predict? I predicted mine. I predicted mine.
I think they've got a former member interview.
I didn't think about that.
And
why is Joey involved then?
Well, okay, I don't want to say anything just yet, but where was Joey?
Think about it.
Last month.
About what Joey's done over the last 6 months.
Oh yeah,
music-wise. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. That's my guess.
That's going to be interesting. They're going to bring up the shed.
But your theory is good too. Like, I didn't think that, but
that makes sense now with Joey. That I think that makes more sense than my thing. either that or Joey's replacing one of them.
Well, it could be, and I don't think that wouldn't be a special announcement because everybody knows it's already, Joey's band ZO2 back together, putting another CD out.
But they want to produce that, they want to promote that album, so it would make sense with y'all's.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
So I don't know if it would
wait and see.
We'll have to
I don't know. I just don't know why they would. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
But I just hope it's not an announcement where we have more questions than before the announcement. You know what I mean?
It's going to be like,
well, stay tuned for Friday. It's like, no, tell us now.
It's gonna be like the box. You got a gift box, and then you open it up, and it's a smaller gift box, and then you open it up again, another smaller gift box. Don't make it be about more questions than answers.
I think you guys are right. I didn't think about that, but he's been promoting that upcoming release, so yeah. I can see that too. So yeah, you're right.
You can see you guys in my glasses. I just
see you in my dreams, Stevie.
Okay, that's disturbing there.
You're telling me.
Yeah, I won't sleep good tonight thinking about that. Anyway, all right, guys, for the Hitman Jack Pinocchio, for Jason Warden, and for me, the redneck macho man over here. This has been the Triple Threat main event. You guys have a great week and have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And we will see you next time on Triple Threat main event.
See ya.
Too sweet.